What's up, everybody? Trueshot back today for another... Wait a minute, this isn't a reaction video. We're doing the 2020 awards show, baby. We are here. We're excited to bring you all of the top albums, the top singles, the top EPs, the best breakdown, and the best chorus from 2020, brother. And that's the bottom line. Listen, we are here. We also got features from Alan Harrington over on Twitter, Mr. Metalcore himself, presenting his top 12 albums. So here's how it's going to work. First of all, we are going to start off with our top chorus. We're going to go to our top breakdown. We're going to go to our EPs, top bands for 2021, top singles, top albums, with Alan's clips sprinkled throughout. Here's the criteria. Obviously, it's stuff released in 2020. Obviously. If you didn't gather that, what are you doing? Now,
watching the wrong video. That's what they're doing.
Yes. Exactly.
Yes.
If you watch this next year in 2021, if you're still confused,
go watch our 2022 then.
Exactly. So here's the only little criteria that I had. So usually for top singles, people will put down just singles. You know, it could have been any single. But basically, what I wanted to do for this, I wanted a little bit more variety. So I said, guys, the singles have to be either standalone singles or singles that are part of upcoming albums that are not released yet. So if you're like...
That was tough.
If you're like, Rich, why did you put Landmine from Polaris on there? I'd be like, dude, the album came out, okay? So there you go. That's the format.
Standalone, non-released album singles.
Yeah. But before we get into Alan's number 12 and 11 albums from 2020, I want to ask my contemporaries here, guys. What are you expecting tonight? You expecting some curveballs? What are you looking forward to most out of this award show tonight, Adam?
I'm looking forward to seeing what Derek comes through with tonight.
Okay.
Just because
I would agree.
I have I know Rich is going to throw some curveballs because I think since we've started doing a lot of these reactions, you have matured in your taste. So,
me? I am the most mature young man there is.
Anybody who spends 5 minutes with Rich in the studio knows that is not true. But I think I'm looking forward to what Derek brings, and I'm looking forward to what your 5 top albums are, because you have told me they don't follow the not that they're all album reviews, but your scoring system.
Right. So for those of you that are not aware of what Adam is talking about there, I do album reactions and reviews for our Patreon, and I do grade the albums. However, if you guys are keeping track at home, if you're on Patreon, you'll notice that my albums don't necessarily follow the grades that I necessarily gave them there. So it's interesting. But for me, I'm looking forward to Derek. I mean, Derek, he's
like the
there's a lot of pressure on me now.
You know why? You know why I think there's so much pressure on you, Derek, is because you're not at part. You don't do as many reactions as we do, right? So you participate, right? When you so choose,
right?
And I think people are gonna want to see what the mysterious third member of Trueshot thinks.
I agree.
Okay. All right,
Derek, what do you think? What are you expecting? What are you hoping for? What are some surprises?
I'm really curious about top breakdown for Rich, to be honest with you, because there's so many good breakdowns, and I do watch the reactions. I'm on the live stream every Saturday, so I see him freaking out all the time on breakdowns and like flying out of his chair. So I'm curious to see. Like I kind of have an idea, but
do you have any idea what mine's gonna be?
No.
I think mine is going to throw people a little bit.
I think it is too. I think it's something that was recently reacted to.
We'll see.
Well,
that's what I think.
Listen,
I could be wrong.
Let's wait to get to the top breakdowns. But now, let's dive in to our guy, Alan, and his number 12 and number 11 albums for 2020. After each of them, we will do some brief commentary on what we thought of Mr. Harrington's selections. Here we go. This is Alan's number 12 album. Here we go.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the moment you've all been waiting for. I would like to begin today by giving a huge thank you to the Trueshot guest spot for allowing me to debut this list on their podcast.
No problem.
I hope you all know just how much I truly appreciate it. So,
Thank you for the $500.
with that being said, we have officially reached the end of 2020. A year that I'm sure has been trying for many, me included. But as always, the one thing that is always there for us is music.
True.
This year, more than ever. And as always, there were albums I casually enjoyed, albums I loved, and albums I cherished.
Cherish.
The list you're about to
Interesting.
hear here are the 12 albums that I could just not get enough of this year. Hopefully, you love them as well.
Was there a
So,
hamster wheel in the background?
without any more delay, what do you say we dive right in to my 2 runner-up albums to my top 10 list of 2020?
Let's hear it, Alan.
Go, Alan. Come
Go.
on.
First off, we have my second runner-up, otherwise known as my number 12 album of 2020. And what I think you will see is a trend of these first few albums in my list this year. When this record released this year, I was a bit lukewarm on it. It took a bit of getting used to, as it was a band with a brand new vocalist.
I know.
But by the end of this year,
I know what it is.
I grew to adore it. And if you haven't guessed it by now,
Guess it.
my
Invent
number
Animate.
12 album of 2020 is Invent Animate's Grayview. Ever since the release of Everchanger, Invent Animate has been a band that I've been quite fond of. I've had the privilege of seeing them live a couple times and watching their growth as artists. But as most of you know, in early 2018, Ben English announced he had left Invent Animate. We would later learn that vocalist Marcus Vick would be taking over vocal duties. So, naturally, there was a bit of trepidation diving into Grayview. But after several listens, I am pleased to report that Grayview might just be Invent Animate's best album to date. It leads off with one of the better singles of 2020, Dark, which shows the band doing what they do best. Adrian-style North Lane metalcore. And in today's day and age, where North Lane has changed up their sound and Aviana is in shambles, that's never been more welcome than in 2020. Overall, the album continues the path of Dark until we get to the ballad of Grayview, Fireside, which sees them slow it down and mellow it out, presenting an intriguing sound that Invent Animate could possibly further incorporate onto their sound in further releases. Even though Grayview wasn't quite a top 10 album of 2020, I still believe it's the best record of the band's career thus far, and with maybe a little bit of sound differentiation and continued dedication, I have no doubt that the top 10 is ultimately where this band will end up in the coming years.
Okay, so there we go. Alan Harrington's number 12 album and his second runner-up is Invent Animate Grayview. Now, I want to turn this over to Derek because, Derek, you are Invent Animate. Just like Adam is metalcore, you are Invent Animate. So
Yes.
what do you think of the number 12 selection from Alan here?
I mean, I definitely agree with them that it is their best album that they've released. I mean, Everchanger was phenomenal, but there was just something about that album, just the airiness of it, just the ambiance of it. Some great deep tracks in there as well. I only think there's probably maybe 1 or 2 tracks where I'm kind of just like, meh, but I still really enjoy them. So, yeah, no, that is a fantastic album.
Yeah, I mean, for me with Invent Animate, the problem for me is that I think it's what Derek said. He used the perfect word for it. It's very airy, and it's very hard for me to get into those types of songs because, as you guys can tell, I know I'm very mellow. Okay, I'm a very mellow guy. I'm just like, hey man, how you doing? I'm very mellow. I like to, But no, I like to vibe. I like to vibe. You know what I mean?
I just like to break stuff.
Yeah, I want to drive my car through buildings.
Yes,
okay, that's just the way that I operate.
And
so
Invent Animate doesn't give you that.
The Invent Animate doesn't give me that, from what I have heard. Now, I'm not like a master of the band or anything. But Adam, what do you think of that number 12 selection?
It fits. It didn't make my top 5.
Spoiler.
I can tell you that.
Ooh,
I'll give you
spoiler.
that. So I was in agreement with Alan. And I can't really comment too much because I think I was sleeping on that album.
Okay.
I think I'm sleeping on it. So
I think you are.
Well, we can also say that Alan, he's very thorough with his.
Yes, that was
analysis.
that was way more
fantastic.
thorough
Yeah.
than I was.
I was thinking like a 20-second clip.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah, but let's get into his number 11 album
All right.
now before we get into our top choruses. So here we go. Alan Harrington, number 11 album of 2020.
Similarly to Grayview, the album that fell just one spot short of being a top 10 album of 2020 was one that upon first listen, I only had in about the 20 to 25 range.
Oh,
But after each listen,
a riser.
it's as if I uncovered another layer to the record that I had not noticed earlier.
It's like a sticky onion.
But once I placed this album
It's true.
in my bracket for re-listens this year, I knew it had to have a spot on my top records of 2020 list. My first runner-up and number 11 album of 2020 is Kingdom of Giants
Ooh.
Passenger.
All right.
To quote Shrek, this album has layers like an onion. If you just listen to to Passenger on its surface level,
I said it already.
it's a pretty good metalcore album. But if you invest time into it, you'll find that there's a whole lot more that goes into it. First off, the record has perfect cohesion. Track by track, it flows seamlessly. Throughout Passenger's course, you will find many small electronic flourishes that make certain that songs pop. And while I don't think there's an individual song on here that warrants a nod to anything like being the single of the year, this is a record that rewards listeners who hear it in full. There's also some fun stuff thrown into the album as well. For example, the fun little clip from Sharp Tone Records co-founder Sean Keith asking where the hell the Kingdom of Giants tracks are. Things like this are necessary when Kingdom of Giants tracks all keep a somewhat disparaging or sad tone. So even though Passenger ended up falling just short of being a top 10 album of 2020 for me, it's nothing short of a spectacular ride that I hope none of you missed out on in 2020.
All right.
All right, Derek, what do you, because you actually participated in some of the reactions with us for Kingdom of
I
Giants.
did. I think two of them, right?
I believe it was two of
Yeah.
them. So what is your, because I know that you're high on Invent Animate, and he puts Kingdom of Giants above that. What do you think about that? But what do you also just think about the selection?
I mean, I
of
completely
itself?
disagree with that, but that's just my taste. Again, music is all subjective. So there's something about Kingdom of Giants that I can't get into. I respect the talent, but there's just something about it, kind of like with you and Era. Oh, I love Era, but just something about him for you that you just can't really get 100% into him.
Right.
So that's kind of how I feel like with Kingdom of Giants. I haven't listened to that album fully. I'll admit that. I've only listened to the singles that we've listened to maybe one or two times. Maybe I'll give it another try. And then, actually listen to the whole album and really dissect it.
Adam, what do you think of that selection there?
So it's
we did I think 4 reactions for Kingdom of Giants.
were they all off of this album?
Yes.
So that tells me something because I listened to the entire album actually today while I was on the road for work, and I guess I'm one of those listeners who just haven't gotten to all those layers because I was just kind of like, for me.
Yeah, so
So I agree with his positioning out of the top 10, but I also agree that I would not put them above Advent Animate.
So for me, number one, we have Ashtone Audio in the chat. He's always in our Twitch chat. He's a super nice guy. He actually produced this record with and for them. So I talked to him about that on an episode. I interviewed him for the Trueshot guest spot, and he kind of and I also did an album reaction for this as well over on Patreon. And I think for me, it was just in his words. he, you know, Ashtone, Matt Thomas over at Ashtone Audio, he told me, you know, it was kind of meant to be a vibier kind of album, and I got that with it. And I think for me, there were some songs that I really liked. I think like Side Effect was one of them that I liked. That was on the heavier end. But a lot of them were just, you know, relatively mellow. And for me, I just didn't gravitate towards a lot of them. But I know what Alan's talking about in terms of listening to it from front to back. They do use the electronic elements, I think, very well. I enjoy that with them. But again, there's just it's just lacking that angst.
Today, like when I was listening to it today, like there was nothing. You know, it's me in the car by myself, and I got it loud, and I didn't. There was no part of that where I was just like, wow,
right?
You know, but I enjoyed the whole listen.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those things I enjoyed very much, but it wasn't like
nothing grabbed you.
Yeah,
I got you.
Yeah, like some of the things we'll talk about today.
All right, well, there's Alan's number 12 and 11 albums. We're going to now get into our top chorus of 2020 before we get into more of Alan's albums. So we're going to turn it over to Derek here. Derek, I want you to tell us what your top chorus of 2020 was. Build us up and get us into it, man. I'm looking forward to it.
So my top chorus was a late track of the year, very late track of the year. Came out very recently. I changed it because of this song, because of when this song came out. So what is it, Rich, then, if you know what it is?
I'm going to guess you're going to say Novelists, Lost Cause.
It is not Novelist Lost Cause, but that is a fantastic chorus. That was up there for me. It actually was Constance by Spirit Box. Because it made me feel all the feels and just everything about that. I mean, it came out of nowhere for me. I wasn't expecting that, and wow.
Yeah, man, I think that's a great pick. I mean, as you can tell, there is documented proof of Adam crying on that reaction. You know, not me.
I didn't want to bring that up, but okay.
There's proof of Adam just crying during that reaction. I did not cry, for the record. I just want everybody to know, like, when you go to watch that reaction, it may look like I'm crying, but it's because Adam said, "Can you cry for me?" And I said, "Okay,
he was
no
covering."
problem.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think I like the Constance pick. I think Constance was a fantastic song, a great emotional song. I mean, I remember I messaged Mike Stringer after it, and I was just like, man, I've never been moved by a piece of music like this, especially for a YouTube video, which that one was. So people got to see that array of emotions. Yeah. But Adam, what do you think of that pick?
I like it. It is not my pick.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that for me particular, that whole song was on another level, so I didn't really pick out the chorus in particular personally.
I mean, I have it in my head right now that I said it. Like it's in my head.
Yeah,
and
I got my pick in my head right now too. I think that's kind of where we're all at. Do you have your pick in your head?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's just going over and over again.
But I that's a good pick. That's definitely a valiant and on point pick.
I admire that pick. I think that's a great pick. I think that's a great pick. But let's turn it over to Adam. Adam, top chorus for 2020. What do you got?
I said it when I heard it.
I know what it is.
I said it when I heard it.
We all know what it is. The Twitch chat knows what it is.
The Twitch chat knows what it is. And it is Novelists Lost Cause.
Yep.
And I think the reason why it hit me so hard, I think, is because I wasn't expecting it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very ballady and airy, and it just fits what I love.
Yeah, I personally loved that. I remember being like blindsided by it when we first read it. I was like, whoa, like I was not expecting, because I know that Tobias, who we've had a little bit of correspondence with in the emails, so we're trying to get him on the podcast.
Yes.
I knew that he was in Alaska, but I got to be honest, I never really listened to Alaska, so I never knew what to expect. And then when that chorus came in, I was just like, whoa, like that blew me away. That was up there for me, but it was not my top chorus.
No, I have to say, I mean, there were some people commenting that, Novelist is now just Alaska with Tobias in it. But I think I disagree with that. I think he can do what Mateo used to do in terms of how we used to do it differently. I'm not going to put him on the same level in any means, but I think he's a really good fit for the band, and I think he brings a different dynamic to that band. And I have been on a novelist kick since that single came out.
Yeah. All right. So now we're gonna. I guess it's my turn.
So Rich, before we do this,
yes. What do you have to say?
I literally have no idea what you're gonna pick.
Take a guess. Let's each take a guess. Let's each take a guess.
I don't even know. Like we've done so many reactions, and I haven't like
anybody in the Twitch chat. If you want to guess,
just
as well.
guess. Like I'm gonna somebody give me a hint because I sit here and do all of these with him.
Yeah. So
and I don't even.
You should know.
I should know.
Darko. Insects.
It was not Darko Insects. For a chorus, I did like Darko, but that was not that.
Does Darko even have a chorus?
Brothers, sisters, holders of earth. But okay, I'll just get to it. So
what do you got?
My
I was looking at the chat.
My top chorus for 2020 comes from a band that has been around for a while. This band in 2020 has been much maligned, especially as of recently, with a track. And this is not my pick, but this is the track that they have been much maligned with, called Brick Wall. My pick for 2020 chorus of the 2020 chorus is A Day to Remember.
What?
Resentment.
Wow. Completely out of left field.
My pick for 2020, A Day to Remember, Resentment.
All right.
I can't wait to hear the explanation.
Yes,
please justify this to the world.
So you got to understand, I think that Resentment is one of... Wait, Resentment was 2019? Look at this.
This is his own format that he came up with, and he was harping on Adam and I
am
all.
so glad that this is freaking recorded. This is the most amazing. Dude, I've known this guy for what, 3.5 years? Like, he has become a brother to me, and seeing this happen is like joyful. This is like, thank you for Christmas. Thank you for Christmas early.
Well, okay. Listen.
All right, now you can make a legit pick. I know that was a joke.
That was a total joke. He didn't mean that.
Didn't mean that.
My pick for the 2020 chorus of the year is Bleed From Within, The End of All We Know. Listen, man, that chorus, I remember this was a Twitch reaction, and
I don't remember doing that with you.
No, you didn't do this one with me. This was a Twitch request, and I pulled it up. And I've heard of Bleed From Within, but I had never, I don't know, I never like listened to them, but I was told that they were kind of like the As I Lay Dying of the UK.
Really?
And I put this on, and it was exactly that. But then it hit me with a chorus that was just, oh man, I wish I had a clip to play you guys right now, but it's, is this the end of all we know? It had like just like a catchy melody line that it had like a sing-along part. But no, Bleed From Within, man. I did an album reaction to them as well. Great band. I was not expecting that, but The End of All We Know is my top chorus of 2020.
Interesting.
Did you enjoy the resentment part there? Did you like that?
I did. I did.
As you can see, the resentment pick was obviously a joke because I had Bleed From Within ready to go. But
no, he didn't. He didn't. He definitely didn't.
He did
because
not.
For one of my choruses, it came out in 2019, but the album came out in 2020, so I omitted that pick.
Oh man.
It's so easy. You know what he said to us? So easy, guys. He's going to cut this out, but I want Twitch to know he came in, he was like, bro, this took me like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It took me like 10 minutes. I'm like,
clearly
dude,
it did take you 10 minutes.
Derek and I are like, oh, we spent 2 freaking hours a day for a week trying to go through our stuff to figure out what we wanted to pick.
I should have just picked Brick Wall.
Yeah, that would have been
the rest of your picks
would have been
are now
2020.
Sus.
Yeah.
They are all sus, aren't they?
They are. The rest of his picks.
Oh, man.
We'll see. But anyway,
Jesus, wait a second. I do have some honorable mentions.
Okay.
Can we go through honorable mentions?
For the top chorus?
For the top chorus, honorable mentions.
I didn't have an honorable mention, but go ahead.
I think these two, one of these bands we've never had on the channel. So I'm gonna say the first one is Captives, Falling Apart.
Okay.
That was the single previous to the one we just
Did
reacted
that
to.
come out this year? Or
Yes,
that,
it did.
I
Early
thought it-
2020.
Okay, I thought it came out in late 2019.
Pretty sure it came out early
I mean, no,
2020.
I believe
I think.
you, yeah. Right.
Either it's an honorable mention, so if I
great.
fucked it
That's
up,
a great
Liz
song.
can get it. The other one is Holding Absence, who actually just...
That was my honorable mention, too. Was it Gravity?
No, it was Beyond Belief.
Okay, that's a really good track, too. But yeah, I was between those two for honorable mentions.
Oh, really?
Was Gravity and Beyond Belief, yeah.
Interesting. All right. Both of those are really good songs.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Great band.
Yeah. So
right.
we're going to leave the course pickings to Derek and Adam,
Yeah,
not Rich.
Not Rich.
So
no.
let's just recap. Let's just say it one more time. Derek, your top course of
It
2020.
was Spirit Box Constance.
Adam, your top course of 2020.
Novelists.
And
Lost Cause.
And a day to remember, Resentment. Bleed from Within, the end of all we know.
Awesome.
All right, let's move on to Alan's number 10 and number 9 albums of 2020. Here we go, number 10.
Here we go.
Now it's time to dive in to the cream of the crop.
The Cream.
The 10 albums that meant the most to me in this crazy year.
I'm excited.
The album that comes in at spot number 10 this year is the follow-up to my number 3 album and debut album of 2017.
Ooh.
From one of the most promising metalcore acts I can remember in years. So,
It's not Trueshot.
appearing on my top 10 list for the second time in as many album releases is Currents with their album The Way It Ends.
Yeah.
Unlike their debut record, The Way It Ends was actually not an album that I adored on first listen.
Ooh,
The album was
interesting.
actually one, like, over the course of the year that had to grow on me, much like Kingdom of Giants previously. Each time I listen to The Way It Ends, it feels like I uncovered a new layer to this unexpectedly dense album. With their debut record, The Place I Feel Safest, they presented more of a straightforward metalcore record, which I was honestly expecting here. But in a lot of ways, I feel like they may have exceeded their debut, particularly with the band's melodic sections. Right in the middle of this album, the band takes a break from the more full steam ahead metalcore tracks like A Flag to Wave or Second Skin, and they
Love
mellow
Second
out
Skin.
a little bit.
Yeah.
And somewhat surprisingly, these moments, the band shines, particularly with the tracks Kill the Ache and Let Me Leave
Those tracks
appearing
are great.
consecutively
Great.
Both of
on
them
the
are
album.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Something else notable about The Way It Ends is the amazing way this album closes. How I Fall Apart is an amazing hot and cold penultimate track. And then Better Days? It's nothing short of my closer of the year on a metalcore album.
Right.
It's so hauntingly hopeless, perfectly connecting the end with the opening lines from their album that also happened to connect this album to their debut. Because The Place I Feel Safest, it was never there at all. Oh, I get chills just saying that. So overall, this
didn't like
album
that one?
is comparable
No, he
to a
did.
long journey.
Oh, he
The
definitely
album
did.
connects so well with their previous record, and I cannot wait to see where Currents decides to go next.
All right, Derek, we'll turn it over to you, Derek. While you got COVID? You all right?
Yes.
I don't have COVID. Out of my basement.
Hey, no swearing, we're going to get demonetized.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, Derek, what did you think of his number 10 selection, Currents?
That's one of my favorite albums of the year. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
Interesting. I thought it would have been higher on his. But yeah, I think it's a good album.
You think it's a good album? So knowing Alan that I do through Twitter, I know that he is a melodic metalcore kind of guy, so I expected this to be in the top 10, but number 10 I was kind of surprised by. So for me, I liked the Currents album. I did an album reaction review of them on the channel, and I liked it. I think it would probably be somewhere in my top 10. The thing for me, though, is that, again, I really like the more aggressive nature, but surprisingly, my least favorite track off of that album, I believe, was Poverty of Self, which is probably arguably the heaviest one.
Really?
But I really liked like Split. I thought Split was probably the standout track for me. I thought that was one of the best songs that Currents has ever done.
Yeah, I know you like the intro on that song.
Yeah, that riff is great. I like I like A Flag to Wave, Kill the Ache. There's a lot of really solid tracks on there. I just think for me when it comes to Currents, it's that there's it's the replayability of a lot of the songs for me. I think that there are a few songs that I can re-listen to over and over, but as a whole, there are some that like I would listen to in a full album listen to, like on a car ride.
Yep.
But in terms of a playlist, there's about maybe 3, maybe 4 songs that I would really gravitate towards.
Okay.
But all right. Number 10 was Currents. I think that's a pretty solid pick, man. I like that one from Alan. But let's move over now to his number 9 album of 2020.
Since I just spoke of Currents releasing my favorite debut album of 2017, what do you say that with my number 9 album of 2020, I let you know what my debut album of this year was? The band who released it was one of the many young bands I had an eye on before 2020 began. But this year was the year they became a band I loved and a band that signed to UNFD. That's right.
Thornhill?
My number 9 album of 2020 is Hollow Front's Loose Threads.
Great choice.
I think this is the song Ghosted.
Hollow Front is the perfect example of a band who has looked at their counterparts all around the metalcore scene, found out what has worked and what hasn't worked, and crafted a metalcore album that feels like a coagulation of the best of several different bands. Some people may be turned off by this, but I think this is the best way for a band to get started in the new decade. If it's not broke, don't fix it. And Hollow Front shows strong fluency in the main language that I speak, and that's in breakdowns. After a couple tracks at the beginning of the record that showcase Hollow Front's somewhat newly incorporated clean vocals, what follows is a barrage of incredible heavy tracks. Vagabond, Panic, Loose Threads, Ghosted, and even The Itch are examples of 5 songs on the record that go so hard and make me lose it every time I hear them. On top of all this, with the announcement to their signing to UNFD, Hollow Front also released another song, Wearing Thin, which was added to their vinyl release for Loose Threads.
Oh, wow.
That could easily have been a top 50 single of the year for me. So including that did nothing but bump the album up even further for me. So, to wrap up Loose Threads, if you're looking for something innovative, maybe look elsewhere. But if you're looking for one hell of a rock-solid debut album from a band that perfectly executes heavy metalcore, well, look no further than my debut and number 9 album of 2020.
All right, so there you
I
have
didn't
it.
realize that was their
Debut.
LP, though. They've released before.
I think they've released EPs and stuff before.
Okay, I'm just making sure because I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, obviously he knows what he's talking about. I'm like, I must have missed something, but definitely EPs.
Yeah, so Alan's number 9 album is Hollow Front Loose Threads. And also, Hollow Front, congratulations on the signing to UNFD. I believe they're also managed by Ryan Kirby of Fit for a King. So they definitely have some great backing. Derek, are you familiar at all with Hollow Front Loose Threads?
No, my metalcore credit is going to be taken away. I really haven't listened to a ton of Hollow Front, so I can't speak to it at all.
That's totally fine. That's fine. Adam, your thoughts?
Yeah, I've listened to this album through and through multiple times. It's a great album.
Yeah, I think that's for me. I liked it. I mean, from what I had heard, here's the thing, right? Is that like I try to do these album reactions and reviews to have like a back catalog for me to go look at, and Hollow Front was one that I wanted to do. I never got around to doing it, but I have listened to it. But there are some songs that stick out that Alan, he mentioned. I know we did a reaction to Loose Threads. The song Ghosted is sick. It's a short, sweet, to the point kind of song. Vagabond is also like that. Like Alan said, it's a rock solid metalcore album. And I think that's a really solid pick at number 9.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Should we get into our top breakdowns?
Ooh. This is the one where I'm really curious on what Rich has to say, because he is the breakdown guy.
I'm the breakdown
guy. He
guy.
loves them breakdowns.
Okay. Well, Derek, let's start with you, sir. 2020 breakdown of the year. And I promise mine will be from 2020.
I don't think it's going to be.
It is. I promise.
So my breakdown of the year is actually Crystal Lake and Disobey.
Really?
Wow.
So it almost was Slaughter to Prevail, which most people would, I mean, but when I first heard that, I was driving, and I just started punching the crap out of my steering wheel when I heard that. I was just going ham. That just something about it just got me, and still to this day, every time I hear that, I would just get revved up.
Did the airbag from your steering wheel deploy when you were?
Yes, because I'm so swole that I was just breaking everything in my car. Yeah, but no, like that breakdown still, it was.
That's your top breakdown of 20. Okay.
Yeah, that breakdown at the right in the beginning there towards the middle.
Oh
yeah, that breakdown just gets you. I don't know.
I mean, just to kind of to go off of that, I think Disobey is a great. I mean, if you go back and watch our reaction to it, I think that was probably the first song that had gotten me out of my chair like that.
I would agree.
That was a hell of a breakdown. I mean, I can't fault you for that one at all, Derek. Adam.
No.
Your top breakdown in 2020.
I don't know if this is going to surprise you, but as soon as you told me this was one of the categories, I knew this was the song I was going to pick. And I'm going to go with Darko, US, Insects.
Wow, I'm not expecting that from you at all.
That absolutely blew my mind, and I'm not gonna lie, it actually opened me up a little bit to enjoying more of that chaotic, thrashy, just like
go.
Yeah, and again, I have all of their songs and playlists spread out, but that song for me was. It was probably around 3 minutes of just one amazing breakdown. So for me, 2020 breakdowns are all about Darko US and yes.
Wow.
I think that's a great pick.
I
think Darko is a hell of a band. Obviously, for those of you that are watching that aren't familiar with who Darko is, it's a project consisting of Josh Miller of Amur and Tom Barber of Chelsea Grin. It is just the most carnal, savage, just intense music out there. I think Darko US Insects is a great pick. Derek, I think it sounds like you agree with that.
I do. No, I mean, I do like that song a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how you can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So now my breakdown of 2020.
Here we go.
Woo.
So
I wish I had a snare here.
I want you each to have one guess, because you guys seem to be interested in what I'm picking.
Yeah, but I think you have a much broader landscape of music that you listen to holistically than I do. I'm very pinholed into what I kind of enjoy. I'm open-minded, but what I listen to is very small world. So I couldn't even fathom.
Nothing better than the Stones, man.
That's a new thing today.
Yeah,
Derek, do you have any guess?
For you?
Yeah.
Because breakdowns is pretty much what you like. You love anything breakdown. That's the kind of music that you like that sometimes we disagree on.
Yes.
So that's why I have no idea, because
I don't think Derek's going to know this song. Adam will know this song after I catch him up to speed, because we actually went to go do a reaction to it, but we never actually uploaded it.
Oh, did we forget to record it?
No, this is a song.
This is the music video one.
Yes. So we did a reaction to this band on Twitch, and let's just say that the music video was graphic to the point where we were just like, we don't want to get canceled off Twitch here.
Who was that?
My top breakdown of 2020 is Paleface. Curse Us.
To never fucking kill me, you cowards! Cause I am the fucking cursed one! Bitch!
Listen, man.
That was brutal, dude.
That was... So when we first listened to it, I was like, this song is stupid. Like, this is just way over the top and dumb. And I'll admit, the music video was... I mean, it was, you know, it was meant to be, you know, over the top. But when I go back and listen to that in the car, dude, I'm telling you, that breakdown is just... So, first of all, it starts and it's vocally driven. And he's just going off. He's just like... And it just like the hit is just I'm gonna do beep 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 beep. But that breakdown there for me, like I wish I had the sample on the roadcast here to play it for you, but it hits so hard that I'm in the car and it's like a moment.
I don't think I could focus on the music as much as I wanted to because of the video.
Right,
so I think that was a tough part for me.
Right. So so this is an example of a song that collectively it jumps around a lot with different tempo changes. So as a song collectively, it's okay. But the breakdown and just the intensity and just over the top and that goes with it, the energy with it is just like I can't help it. But I will say that my honorable mention was Darko US, but Divine Void.
Really?
Yes, that was my honorable mention. The one with Darius, you know, when he has like that a cappella moment. It's like, I can't remember exactly what the lyrics are, but then it just drops back in, and I think that's a sick one.
So my honorable, one of the only one I listed here was Defamed in Tenebris.
Defamed in Tenebris, okay.
Yeah, that was my runner-up.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That was actually my least favorite Defamed song.
Really?
Off that EP, yeah.
I think it was my most favorite because I think it had some good melody in there.
Yeah. I
liked it.
Yeah, it had more melody in there for me, and I think that's probably where it honestly lost me.
Well, well, exactly, like, because you and I are opposite in that sense.
Right. So
as we can tell, you're picking from courses in 2019. So.
Yeah, so he doesn't know what's going on. I listen to all these albums, but I just don't know when they come out.
Where's the I Am Metalcore? I Am Metalcore.
It's in there.
Hold on, let's get it. Hold on, Adam, if you want to press it, you can
I want to
press that button right there.
I Am Metalcore.
Okay,
That's right.
There we go. Oh, hold on.
I don't want to play his top number one.
I Am Metalcore.
That's right. All right, let's go.
All right, so now let's move into Alan's number 8 and number 7 albums of 2020. Here we go.
The album that takes my number 8 spot of 2020 is quite the opposite of my number 9, meaning that this album is far from this band's debut. In fact, it's the 10th studio album from a band that I have loved for a very long time, but have surprisingly yet to make a top 10 album of the year list for me. That is, until now. My number 8 album of 2020 is...
Who is it?
The Acacia Strain's
Oh.
Slow Decay.
I can't fucking
I've only crafted a top 10 albums of the year list since 2015. Wow. But even then, it's still amazing
where Rich
that
is
a
getting his
band
albums
like
from.
the Acacia Strain is just now making its first appearance in my top 10 of the year list. They have been one of the most consistently great bands for nearly 2 decades. And what's the craziest part about that, you might ask? I think Slow Decay is the best Acacia Strain album that I have heard in years.
That's a bold take.
One of the hardest things I had to do all of 2020 was wait for this full-length record to be released, while the band slowly released 2 new songs every 1 or 2 months.
Yeah.
But oh man, was waiting to listen to this record as a whole worth it. Slow Decay comes out of the gates blazing with Feed a Pigeon, Breed a Rat, Crippling Poison, and Seeing God. This trio of songs best represents my favorite version of the Acacia Strain. Fast, heavy, and unrelenting. And for the majority of this record, it just doesn't stop. It seems like track after track, my mouth dropped further and further to the ground. And then, when I got to my favorite track on the record, Chinnamasta, I believe it's pronounced,
We did that.
the Acacia strain had already secured their spot on my list. And when the ambience breaks and Vincent comes in with I can't fucking breathe, my whole car shook and my breath was taken away.
Whoa.
Features also do a lot to boost this record.
Okay.
Courtney
Interesting.
from Spirit Box and Jess from Dying Wish do so much to elevate their respective tracks and keep Slow Decay from becoming monotonous, especially vocally. Lyrically, the band remains as gloomy and hopeless as ever, adding to the fully immersive experience of decay this record presents. So, all in all, for deathcore in 2020, I don't think I could find you a better album to listen to than this one right here.
All right, so here we go. Number 8, the Acacia strain Slow Decay. So just so that we're keeping track here, number 12 was Invent Animate Graveyou. Number 11 was Kingdom of Giants Passenger. Number 10 was Currents The Way It Ends. And what was his number 9 again? I'm trying to remember.
Hollow
Front. Loose
Yep,
Threads.
Loose
Thank
Threads.
you. Derek, what do you think of that pick? I don't know. Did you dive into that record too much this year?
I did not. I'll be honest with you. I haven't listened to the Acacia strain in probably 10 years.
Oh wow.
Okay.
I mean, I'll be like, I just haven't. And it's not that I don't like them. I just
haven't
kind of
found your
forgot
way
about
to
them, to be honest with you. You know,
Yeah,
when I
okay.
got out of metalcore for a little while, metal for a little while there,
Yeah.
and then I just didn't pick them back up.
Okay.
But now that I know that they have a newer album out, I'm probably gonna check it out.
All right.
I did enjoy their older stuff. I think we saw them live like a
Oh yeah, I've seen
times.
them live before.
They're local to us, so yeah, we've
Yeah.
seen them live.
Yep.
I don't know. I just some of the stuff he was saying about him, I didn't get those vibes. You know, that it was the best thing they've ever done. I thought the Courtney feature was lackluster and actually took away from the track because I thought I was actually trying to. I thought it was going to be better than it was. So there was some anticipation that built, and it was kind of, to me, it was like a letdown.
When you say better than it was, do you mean just a more prominent performance from Courtney, or do you what do you mean?
Yeah, I think it was too. You know, it's. I don't think what she added in that song was enough
I got you.
for a feature for her.
Yeah, I gotta be honest. I mean, I've been an Acacia Strain fan for a long time. I just Wormwood for me is that album for me though. And it's tough to top it. I think I gotta give them props. The Acacia Strain, they released this album like he said, the two EPs, and they found their way in the top 5 Billboard albums. That is insane. But a lot of it had to do with their strategy, but also the Acacia Strain. They've been around for 2 decades. They have that built-in fan base. I think for me, it was just a little bit too doomy and gloomy for me.
I think I would agree
it was
with you there.
just, you know, because I did an album reaction and review to End recently, and it kind of reminded me sort of in that realm. It's just kind of like that doom style that I can't really get into. It's a little bit too slow for me. There was moments like he mentioned with Chinnamasta where Vincent comes in. I can't fucking breathe. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
There's some cool moments, but overall, I couldn't get into that album.
I think same with me.
All right. Well, let's move into Alan. I almost said Adam. Alan's number 7 album of 2020.
Coming
I
in
have 7.
at number 7,
You only told me
we
5.
have a third appearance of a release from my label of the year, Sharp Tone Records. This is a classic case of being floored by a
I think I
record
remember.
the second you hear it. Aggression, abrasiveness, and disdain are the
Alpha
3
Wolf.
words I would use to describe this. My number 7 album of the year,
Alpha Wolf.
Alpha Wolf's A Quiet
Didn't you put
Place
these on
to
here? So
Die.
you know.
Alpha Wolf, similar to Invent Animate earlier, is another band who released their first full-length record with a brand new vocalist in 2020. And holy Moses, did this one not disappoint. This is easily the angstiest album that my ears have had the pleasure of hearing in 2020.
Agree.
A Quiet
Yeah,
Place to
it's like their
Die is
style.
36 minutes of non-stop energy complete piss and vinegar.
Yes.
And the most fun part of the record for me was the one-liners and lyricism found here. When you have an album with lines like, "If I were you, I'd want to kill myself too," and "regret never sufficed like a bullet in between the eyes," then you know you're dealing with some high-quality pissed-off material. Not to mention that some of my favorite breakdowns of 2020 can also be found on A Quiet Place to Die, including the breakdown in the one and only Akudama, which was my runner-up for breakdown of the year and a top 10 song of 2020. But the fun doesn't stop there. Songs like Creep, Restricted, Rot in Pieces, and Ultraviolet Violence are also a few heavy hitters from this record that make me go wild.
Crazy.
We also can't forget about the slow and brooding third single, Bleed For You, that showcases a different side of Alpha Wolf. And in what's becoming a theme among my top albums of the year so far, the closer, Don't Ask, wraps the album up in a wonderful way.
True.
Doing nothing but leaving me wanting more. Just the way a number 7 album of the year should.
All right, so there we have it. Number 7, Alpha Wolf, A Quiet Place to Die. Now, I know these two guys sitting to my right and left, they know that there are some bands out there that if you were to say, sum up Rich in just a few bands, Alpha Wolf would probably be on that list.
Yep.
Derek,
Oh, yeah,
what
for sure.
What do you think of that number 7 selection from Alan?
I think it's a good selection, and definitely in the top 10. Alpha Wolf has grown on me since I've known you. I mean, you've definitely...
It's been forced.
Yeah.
It's been forced upon me,
Forcibly.
and it is growing on me. That whole metalcore scene down in Australia, that stuff's definitely growing on me. I have to admit it. But yeah, no, that's a solid album. I have listened to it 3 or 4 times, front to back.
Yeah, I mean, so Alpha Wolf, produced, by Lance Prince, who does the mixing and mastering for our music, and they have Scotty Simpson, one of their guitar players, who's also very talented in the audio production realm. Yeah, man, Alpha Wolf hits. I mean, like that's just it, man. I mean, they hit hard. And I really like that he mentioned Don't Ask, which was the closer of the album. Because for me, I thought that was probably one of my favorite. Because from doing the album reaction, stuff like that, I found with like the closing track, it's usually like, it's just, put a bow on it.
Yeah, so it's not a banger.
It's not like a banger, but
For the most part.
That one was great. It was just, from what I remember of it, it was like melancholic and melodic, and it just really wrapped up the feeling of the album for me holistically. I enjoyed that closer. I remember actually saying during my album reaction, I was like, that was one of the better closers tracks that I've heard.
You know what, a band ABR is really good at closer tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're a band that does a lot of good stuff like that.
What did you think of that selection there?
I would agree with it.
You agree?
Yeah, I would agree. Definitely a top 10 album.
All right. Well, guys, now we're going to move in to our EPs. Now,
Okay.
originally, what we were going to do is our top 5 EPs. I do have my 5 EPs of 2020. These two guys here, they have some.
I have one. Listen, I didn't have anything that grabbed me.
Yeah, that's fine. That's the point of this.
You know, I think one of the things that we were talking about is if I couldn't readily go, oh, that EP, this EP, I wasn't going to go search to pick something. So,
Yeah.
I didn't want to sit here and fake it. Like,
No,
I love this EP, and
Yeah.
it's really just something I'm like, well, I kind of like that style. Let me just put it together. So there was one album for me that stuck out.
Yeah. All right, so let's get started with Derek. Derek, if you want to, I know that you have 2. You said
I
right?
have 2, yes.
Okay.
So, Gloom in the Corner.
Okay. Okay.
Definitely. I mean, those 3 tracks are phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, those were the ones that really started to get me into that scene. And then Archer's New Normal. Was really good.
Archer's New Normal?
Yeah,
No idea what that is.
You have no idea who Archers are?
Nope.
Wait, did you just give us both of your EPs?
I did. Oh my god. Was I not supposed to?
No, that's okay. That's fine.
I only had 2.
You only had 2, so it's okay. Okay. Gloom in the Corner, and so Archers, I know of there's like one song called like Black
Black Monkey Magic, or
Yeah,
something
see,
like
I
that,
don't
something
know.
similar
I'm
to
not
that.
familiar with that, to be honest with
What
you.
kind of music are they?
You would like them a lot, Adam. I think
Then why have we not listened to them
I've
in the
tried
car?
to get you to listen to them.
Everybody blames me. It's
You have
always
to.
my fault.
It is always Adam's fault, guys.
Okay. All right. So you have the Gloom in the Corner
Yes.
and Archers. Okay. So Adam, if you want to just touch on the one, I'll go. I have 5 that I'll touch on. But go
All right. The only one that really hit me this year, and it just came out, is Defamed.
Aeon. Yeah.
Aeon. And I don't know why. I'm not a huge deathcore fan, but this band has just
grown on you. huh?
oh, amazing.
Yeah, I agree. I think Defamed was great. So my top EPs. Now, listen. Let me start at number 5 here. My number 5 EP for 2020 was a band that I came on to later on. They're an up-and-coming band. They're signed to Modern Empire. I introduced them to Adam. We did a reaction to them. This is Cohen and their EP, Suffer. Now, what I really like about this EP is that they kind of channel that Alpha Wolf energy. You know,
Okay.
they channel that, led by a single that they first released called Perish, which I loved. I love that track. And then the rest of the stuff was really solid. But Perish is what stuck out to me far and away. And the rest of the material was very solid. But like I said, Perish was just another level above it. So that's where they come up at number 5 for me. Number 4 was a band that I got into also a little bit later this year, but I was glad to have checked them out because I had seen their name floating around. I had just never gotten a chance to really dive into them. And that is Left to Suffer, A Year of Suffering. Man.
I thought they released an LP, no?
No, it's 7 tracks, so it's an EP.
See, look at this.
It's an EP. I mean, they consider it an EP.
All right,
okay,
we'll
okay.
go
Yeah,
with
keep
it.
going,
All
keep
right.
going.
I mean, they are just another level of heavy. And they had a song featuring CJ McCurry, formerly of Lorna Shore, which I actually liked the least. And they told me that was the first song that they wrote together. So it was underdeveloped. And I totally could get that from that. I just think that this EP, man, is heavy. Taylor, the vocalist, is just an animal. And if you want some heavy, like metalcore, deathcore, that line, you got to check out Left to Suffer.
Cool.
Number 3 for me is a band that we did many reactions to. It is I guess you could say a fellow YouTube content creator. That's Carcosa.
Ooh.
Absent. Now, Carcosa, I referred to them on the channel many, many times as refreshing deathcore, and I think that's exactly what they are. They just have that. It's like the Acacia strain of old, and just those extra elements to it. Whether it's Andrew's screams that compliment Johnny so well, the breakdowns hit. I just really enjoyed Carcosa from front to back.
It's a shame. I didn't even consider it.
No, yeah.
I was thinking about singles.
And I've listened
with them.
to it.
Yeah, no, I have too. I was just thinking about singles from that. I wasn't thinking about EP.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Just
it's a shame.
yeah, that
It's a shame.
Yeah.
completely.
My number 2 EP for 2020, The Gloom in the Corner, Ultima Pluvia. Listen, man, this was 3 tracks, Violence, Warfare, and what was the third track? What was the Requiem?
Record, that's my favorite one.
So Requiem's actually my least favorite, as you could probably have guessed. But I think that it wrapped up the story arc for them that they try to portray very, very well. But Warfare and I just said it, Violence. Are just they're heavy, and I love them, man. I just think that they're great. I'm not just saying that because they've kind of become our friends a little bit, but they just release really great music.
Except for that one song.
Which I loved, which was Misanthropic. And finally, my number 1 EP for 2020, Defamed Aeon. As Adam said, I mean, listen, man, this EP, man, I think the only reason why it goes above The Gloom in the Corner for me is it's 6 tracks and just every track is great. Like, and it's just more music to be invested in. Where The Gloom in the Corner is 3 tracks, it's still there. I mean, it's all still good stuff. But I mean, listen, man, like
that's a different listen. You can't even compare them.
Well, I mean, it's a top EP list, so I have to compare.
I know,
but
yeah,
I just think
right.
I just think like songs like Circles.
He's folding it, so he doesn't see it.
Songs like Circles.
Yeah. In Tenebris. But that's your least
that
favorite,
was
man? I loved that one.
Yeah, so we did Circles. Doves I really loved.
I think Doves is definitely my second favorite.
Aeon, the self-titled track.
Freaking thing is good.
Everything's just great.
It's
man.
good.
I loved it. So there we have it. My top 5. Cohen number 5, Left to Suffer number 4, Carcosa number 3, Gloom in the Corner at number 2, and at number 1, Defamed. Derek, you had 2 of them. What were they? Gloom in the Corner and Archers?
Correct.
And then yours
Defamed.
was Defamed. It was the one that stood out to you.
Yep.
All right. Now we're going to go over to Alan's number 6 and number 5 albums before we get into our top bands to look forward to in 2021. And then we're going to be hitting up our singles and albums. So here we go.
I'm excited.
Alan's number 6 album. Here we go.
We may be moving on to my number 6 album of 2020. But what do you say we keep it on the same continent? The band who released my number 6 record of the year
It's going to be Aussie.
has been crushing it in Australia since their debut full-length album in 2012.
Polaris.
But with their newest
Or Make Them
effort,
Suffer?
I think they may have just released my favorite album of their careers. My number 6 album of 2020 is Make Them Suffer's.
It's an album, Rich,
To
not an
Survive
EP.
A Funeral.
What?
Oh, you said let them. You said
I was like, what? What just happened?
Let's start the story of my love for this record by traveling back to last year. After a year or so with no new material, Make Them Suffer crashed back onto the scene with my number 8 single of 2020, Hollowed Heart. And suddenly, a band that had largely remained quiet was in the forefront of my mind yet again. And then, in 2020, they did it again. Better, in fact. They announced the release of the album with my number 2 single of 2020, Erase Me. This is one of the few times this year where I heard a song for the first time and audibly said, whoa, as I listened. For the span of their careers, Make Them Suffer have been one of the most unique deathcore turned metalcore bands in the scene. Not only do they feature keys in many of their songs, but the addition of a second vocalist, being female, adds an extra layer to an already extremely talented band. Songs like the aforementioned Erase Me, along with Bones,
That's a good song.
Drown With Me, and Soul Decay are all examples where the added vocal layers take the songs to the proverbial next level. And even with these vocals being featured, it takes nothing away from how blisteringly and unforgivingly heavy How to Survive a Funeral can be. See Falling Ashes and Fake Your Own Death to find out just how heavy this record gets. And I would be remiss if I failed to mention the absolutely gorgeous 9th track on the record titled The Attendant in this little blurb. It's such a beautiful and somber track featuring the heart-shattering line, "You've come to save me from myself again, but you'd stay away if you knew what's best." Wow. Can you say goose bumps? And hell, if you want to make this album even better, just go to Spotify and add their 2 tracks they released in between album cycles, Hollowed Heart and 27, and call it How to Survive a Funeral Deluxe. And this is just a fantastic record and well deserving of its spot on my list.
All right, so there you have it. Alan's number 6 album, Make Them Suffer, How to Survive a Funeral. Derek, what are your thoughts on that pick?
I've only listened to the album once.
Okay.
So I don't really have too many thoughts on that.
Okay. All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, that album didn't grab me.
Okay.
I don't think it would have broke my top 10.
Okay.
Personal top 10.
Yeah,
which is what this all is, but still.
Right.
Yes.
I really enjoyed that album. I remember when I was listening to it, I did an album reaction for that one. As you guys can tell, I've done like maybe close to 20 at this point. I've tried to do as many as I can. I enjoyed it, man. It had just beautiful melodies throughout. It had a great chorus, but it also had like very genty, just aggressive nature to it that I enjoyed, man. I enjoyed Make Them Suffer, and I think you have tracks like Bones, which we did a reaction to, like that carnival style.
See, I like that stuff, but I just don't come back to it, and I think the re-listenability for me for that record wasn't there.
Gotcha.
So I think that's why it wouldn't crack my top 10.
Okay.
You know, the top 5, which we're doing tonight, is something that I have repeatedly like I can't get enough of.
Gotcha. Okay. Fair enough.
So my top 10 would have been that. I don't think that this particular record would have made it.
Well, I mean, Alan made me want to listen to it again by how well he spoke of it.
Yeah,
so
see,
now I need to.
so now
I got to listen to it again and kind
am
of
I
give it more of
missing
a
something?
chance. Yeah.
Like the
he's an influencer.
The Kingdom of Giants pick as well.
Yeah, the
for
Kingdom
me.
of Giants. So I listened to that today.
Yeah,
by myself in the car, very like in tune to what I was listening to, and I didn't feel or pick out those layers.
Right.
Which again, did they crack? Was that 11 for him?
11,
right?
yeah.
That was 11. So it didn't
Yeah.
crack his top 10, but yeah, I mean that one I probably wouldn't go back. But he did speak highly of it. That made me think, am I missing something?
Yeah, that's what.
Right?
That's why I need to listen to it again.
Yeah, so it's like, well, now, Alan, I got to go back and listen to it.
I got to really listen to
Now
it.
I got to go really listen to it again. So,
Well, let's get into his number 5 pick, which is actually the list that we're doing tonight, his top 5 albums. So I'm very curious because now it's going to get into that territory. We're going to be like, okay, we're going to have some similarities here. Let's check out Alan's number 5 pick for 2020.
And here we are, the best of the best. It's time to finally reveal my top 5 albums of 2020. Starting with a record that I feel like went under a lot of people's radars due to some of the controversy that surrounded it this year. But it certainly didn't fall off of mine. My number 5 album of 2020 also happens to be my comeback album of the year.
Nope.
And that is The Ghost Inside's
Oh,
self-titled
okay.
5th
All
album.
right.
we'll have to discuss this one.
Yeah.
Let's rewind back to 2015 for a second. The Ghost Inside have been involved in a horrific bus crash, leaving several members in critical condition, including the loss of a leg for their drummer. And if you had told me then that not even 5 whole years later, we would be blessed enough to receive a brand new full-length album, I would have called you crazy. But alas, here we are. And not only did we get a new album, we got one of the best records of the whole year. My favorite part about The Ghost Inside self-titled is that they don't come back with an entirely different style. They come back as themselves, and it pays off. The chills begin when opening track 1333, and it sets the stage for what this album is all about. A grand and triumphant comeback. The following tracks continue to pound the listener into the ground in the best way imaginable. I know I've mentioned breakdowns a ton already so far, but I'm going to keep mentioning them because I honestly believe that The Ghost Inside does a better job with breakdowns, more specifically the pre-breakdown lines, than any other band out there right now. With mosh calls like, "This is the new sound of sacrifice," "I am unstoppable," "Cut you out like the leech you are," And my favorite, if they don't move, you move them. How can you not be convinced to move the person in front of you in the pit? And also, while you're at it, be convinced that this is simply one of the top 5 albums of the year. And while coming into the year, I had this terrific record as my number 1 most anticipated, number 5 is still an admirable finish for a band that made probably the best comeback I've ever had the pleasure of witnessing.
Okay, so the Ghost Inside,
right.
self-titled at number 5. Turn it over to Derek. Derek, you got any thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I don't agree with that. I didn't really like the album that much. I also kind of don't really like the Ghost Inside that much. They're more of a live band to me. Like when you go see them live, you can't help but move around. You can't help but do anything. But as far as listening to, I got bored. I mean, the first single was it Aftermath or
the very emotional one, yeah.
Yeah, that was good. That was like I wasn't expecting that, but then I really did listen to the album. I gave it I was excited for it, for the comeback reasons, and it just didn't grab me. So I've only listened to it maybe twice, and again, to me, they're just a live band for me. Like I would go see them live because the show is insane, but as far as me listening to it on a regular basis, I wouldn't do it.
All right. What do you think of that one, Adam?
Yeah, so take the comeback story out of it. I thought I didn't think the record really had anything that great about it, honestly. I thought it was a solid record. I thought it was consistent. I didn't think I would argue that it wasn't new and innovative or a rebirth for them. I thought it was just as hardcore-y as what they were doing back in the day. To me, it didn't live up to what I thought it was going to be, I think, is my main issue.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I think that they delivered on their namesake in terms of just being that hardcore.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that but for me, I have to tend to agree. I think that, and I could be wrong, so Alan, if you're listening to this, correct me if I'm wrong, I think there might be a little bit of sentimentality going into this.
No, I think 100%, and that's why I said before I kind of give my explanation. Take the comeback story out of it,
which is it's a great story,
fantastic.
I mean
99 out of 100 bands wouldn't make that comeback. Yeah. So I think. With it, I think it's an amazing story. I think it's absolutely fantastic.
Right.
When you take the backstory out of it, I think the album didn't show us anything new.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was some solid stuff on there. Like, I really like Pressure Point. I liked Aftermath. There was some other really cool stuff. But I think overall it was just there's a handful of tracks, and I call it a day at that.
I mean, even Aftermath, it's one of those songs that, again, you talked about the sentimentality. We watched the video. I went back and listened to that single before the album came out, obviously, 5-10 times.
Yeah.
And I didn't get the same feel. I was just kept listening to it like, what am I missing? I didn't get the same feel as when I did as watching the visuals. So I think, nail on the head, man. I think it's more sentimentality going into this rather than any, the actual
I 100%
music.
agree. Yeah, he did say it too. That was kind of like they didn't try to do anything new.
Yeah,
they brought back what they were before.
Yeah, they came back as themselves.
Yep.
Fantastic. Yeah, I thought it was. I thought it lived up to the Ghost Inside brand, and
absolutely.
But
to crack the top 5 with that, I think why it makes it there is the sentiment.
I would definitely. It's an album that I would definitely listen to. I'd definitely see them live, but top 5, we'll find out. But anyways, now we're going to move over to our top 3 bands that we are looking forward to in 2021. So this format here, what we'll do is we'll start with Derek with his number 3. We'll go to Adam with his number 3. Then we'll go
down
to
the
me
line
with my number 3, and then we'll continue on from there. So Derek, why don't you kick us off with your number? Do you have any? If you have any honorable mentions, feel free. I know that Adam and I have them. I don't know if you do.
I only focus on the 3.
Okay.
I was completing
the assignment as assigned.
Okay.
So you did the bare minimum.
No, I did.
I did above and beyond.
He's the C's get degrees kind of guy.
He is not. He's just a bass player, okay?
Exactly.
Comes in, does his job,
and goes home.
and goes home.
All right, give us your number
Get
3.
Circle alone on the couch.
Might shock you two, but
that you're looking forward to in 2021.
that I'm looking forward to just based off one single that they released this year. Be Silent Planet.
Oh, really?
I really, really enjoyed that. Yeah. I mean, I've always liked them.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to see
Interesting.
what they're going to do if they're going to carry it on like that.
I
remember
like that.
Yeah, because they did
Solid
like
pick.
a lot of like redos and everything for their albums, but
Yeah.
I'm really interested to see what Silent Planet's going to do.
That's a great pick.
That is
See?
both surprising and quite respectable. I like that.
All right.
Fantastic.
Adam, your number 3 band that you're looking forward to in 2021.
Captives.
I could see, yeah, that I
Captives.
kind of
They
knew that
just
was coming.
signed to, and I'm it's gonna escape me now. I know it.
Sharp
Sharp
Tone.
Tone. Thank you.
Yeah.
Kingsman's have signed to him too. You know, they just signed to Sharp Tone. They just came out with a fantastic single,
Glass Heart.
Glass Heart. I wasn't gonna name it,
I
but
know. I just wanted to, just in case people at home didn't know.
But yeah, Glass Heart, and I followed these guys in early 2020 and in 2019. I thought their EP in 2019 was fantastic. I'm looking forward to seeing how jumping on Sharp Tone skyrockets them, because I think Matt's got a fantastic voice, and I think his voice drives the band. And you could tell on this new single that they've got they're taking it to the next step, I'm looking forward to it.
I think that's a solid pick for. I know that's kind of your taste. Captives for me isn't really my. I think I like the people in the band probably more than the actual music. You know what I mean? Just from kind of the brief exchanges that we've had with them and stuff like that. I would like to talk to them. Just that type of music doesn't necessarily
Doesn't hit you in the feels.
doesn't hit me. No.
So. Okay. Okay. It's okay.
All right.
All right.
I have an honorable mention. I'll touch on that real quick before I
Okay.
get into my number 3. But my honorable mention is a band that is literally the backbone of Trueshot and our influences, and that is As I Lay Dying. My honorable mention is As I Lay
okay.
Dying.
Wow, yeah.
I'm looking forward to them in 2021. They released Shaped by Fire in 2019, so if we're going by a traditional
Yeah,
album
Tim just got
cycle-
hurt though, bro.
Well, so that's
Yeah.
what I'm going to say.
Okay,
So if
I'm
we're
sorry. I
going-
didn't want to try. I'm sorry.
So if we're going by a traditional album cycle, they would technically be putting one out this year. But Tim is in rough shape right now. He got burned. So
25% of his body.
25%.
But
of his body.
let's talk about the elephant in the room. Nick has left the
Exactly.
band.
Yeah, that's what I'm curious. Yeah,
And-
yeah.
Yes, that was my main catalyst for this pick.
And I'm sorry.
Well, no, continue. You had a good point
you go
going.
ahead. Go
Okay,
ahead.
so he's left the band, and they have not made an announcement formally about it. So I know that Tim has come out prior to his recent accident. Came out and said that they are still working on new material.
Right, exactly.
So, which is probably what led you to your pick. So I apologize for.
No, that's totally
Interrupting.
fine. I
actually had some
think-
value. I
No,
gotta add it when I
I-
have it. You're always talking.
I just think it'll be very interesting to see how, if Nick isn't in the band, which
Yep.
all signs seem to kind of point to that,
Point that way.
does the As I Lay Dying sound change at all after all these years?
I think no, based off of what Tim did on his side projects and everything like that.
Yeah,
Just-
and I think Phil,
Because I'm not.
yeah.
That's the other thing too. I'm not exactly sure of the inner workings of the band. how
yeah, it's
they-
not like we've been talking to August Burns Red and stuff, and they tell us what's going on. We're not in with Tim and stuff, so we
Yeah.
don't know what the workings are, who's writing what.
Yeah, so I'm just looking at the Twitch chat real quick, and this isn't. This is one
Somebody
that,
brought up a good one when they said periphery. That'll be an
Yeah.
honorable mention for me. I'll
So,
definitely
okay.
throw that out there because
some others. Veil of Maya is the one that's
Yeah,
kind of
that's it, yeah.
interesting. But my number 3 pick for a band that I'm most looking forward to in 2021 is Silent Planet.
oh
Really?
wow. All right.
See, we don't know these. We don't know these. These
Wow,
get
yeah,
exciting.
that's why he was. That's why he was so shocked.
And you
No,
can-
we don't want to look.
you
Wait,
can
well,
see.
I trust you. I trust you. I see. I
All
trust
right,
you.
Silent
Okay,
Planet.
let's go.
I very much enjoyed Trilogy.
Oh, yeah,
that was
a
right
good
up
album.
there for my
Single.
Single, yeah. That was right up there for me in like my top breakdown. I mean, that breakdown at the end is it's just such a phenomenal single that I look forward to what Silent Planet is going to give us in 2021.
Yeah.
I love them. As you guys know, Adam and Derek, Garrett is a he is. I wouldn't say he's like a motivation for me to expand on my lyrical content beyond just surface level lyricism. Like he's really
like topic wise.
Well, topic wise, but also just how to express what I'm trying to get across, rather than just like I am sad, I am mad. What are different ways to outline that in lyrics?
Okay.
All right. Wow.
So there we have it. We have number 3 for Derek, Silent Planet. Number 3 for Adam, Captors. Number 3 for me, Silent Planet. Turn over to Derek, number 2.
I mean, I don't really have to talk much about it, but I'll just say Spirit Box is my number 2.
Okay.
Because, I mean, just everything they've done this year has been amazing. So I'm just curious to see what they're going to do next year. I know they're currently working on stuff right now.
Yep.
So, like, it's going to, I don't know what direction they're going into. So it's going to be exciting no matter what they release.
Yeah, that's a great pick. Adam, you're number 2.
This is going to surprise people.
Uh-oh.
Because it's a very small band.
Can I guess?
You can guess.
Very small?
Very small.
Did we just recently react to them?
No.
Oh, okay. Then I don't know. Go ahead.
The Wind Covenant.
Ooh, okay. Our guy
So,
Federico.
Yeah. So for those
Yeah.
of you who don't know, he also helped us on our most recent upcoming release. You may or may not know about that at the time of this video. It may also be out, depending on when you watch it. I don't know.
Who knows?
Who knows? You'll never know. But he did work with us on it, and his band, The Wind Covenant, blew my mind. Probably, middle of this year with Damnation, I think it was. Damnation. And then they followed it up with
Eternal.
Eternal, yes. I'm shitty with names, but I'm really excited. I know they're working on stuff. I know they have other stuff coming. They're a relatively small band, and I'm excited from Italy, and I'm super excited to see what they come out with because I just love the way that I love what they do.
Yeah, Federico is he's
really good.
He's a madman.
Yeah.
My number 2 band that I am most looking forward to in 2020
Amir.
has recently brought me to tears, and that is Spirit Box.
Wow. Dude, we did not.
Okay.
We literally did not. I know our number 1s are going to be different, but wow.
I was when you said Spirit Box, I was like, wow, okay, this is very strange that we are on the same playing field here. Listen, man, Spirit Box for me, they add so many different elements. I think why they didn't make number 1 for me, and here's why. I think that they are going to put out, like, say they're going to put out 10 songs, right, on an album. I think I'm going to really like 5 or 6 of them, and there's going to be 4 that are just not my style sonically. I have a feeling it's going to be maybe like that. Because I there's some songs by them I really like. There's some that I'm like, okay, it's cool, but just not my thing. So it's sort of a mixed bag, but they really know how to captivate me, whether it has been emotionally or heavy. So Spirit Box for me, number 2.
All right.
Derek, number 1. I swear to God, if we have the same number 1.
This is,
Number 1 is, of course, ERA. I mean, those 2 singles, I know they're working on an album if they haven't already recorded it.
They did record it.
They did record it? Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
in
pretty
April,
sure.
I believe.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I think they've been sitting on it.
Yeah.
I'm just really looking forward to anything that they put out. They're my favorite metalcore band ever since I heard Impulse back in the day.
God, that's such a good album.
That album is phenomenal. I'm just looking forward to that album. Anything that they do, I pretty much like at this point.
So to recap,
I have Silent Planet, Spirit Box, and ERA.
Okay.
So I'm going to make it easy. My number 1, Spirit Box.
Okay.
All right, yeah. We all really enjoy Spirit Box.
I think what you said, Rich, is pretty accurate. I think not what I'm going to enjoy, but the fact that they're likely going to put out an album. I know that both Mike and Courtney have come out and said they have stuff. Yeah, they have stuff, but they also aren't limiting themselves creatively, so as you can see with Constance. And so I'm interested to see what they do.
Yeah, I think I can't fault that pick. My number 1 pick, though, and I mean, guys, if you've watched the reaction channel,
yeah, I know who it is.
It's not Amir.
They're going to be releasing an album, and I believe it's March. Landmarks.
Really?
I cannot wait for Landmarks in 2021.
Really? Okay.
Dude, listen, man. Lost Lost in a Wave, and then the other one before that, Rainfall. Just this band encapsulates everything that I love. It's heavy, it's melodic, they slam, they has like that rappy kind of vocal that I kind of enjoy. They have those low gutturals. So number one band I'm looking forward to in 2021, which I fully expect that this time next year when we're doing our 2021 top album, I expect that album to be inside the top 3 because these two singles have blown me away, and I cannot wait for Landmarks in 2021.
They haven't done that for me, but we'll see what the album does.
All right. So to recap for you, Adam, you had Captives, Wind Covenant,
The Wind Covenant,
Spirit Box.
and Spirit Box.
I had as my honorable mention, I had As I Lay Dying. Number 3, I had Silent Planet. Number 2, Spirit Box. Number 1, Landmarks. And again, I picked Landmarks over Spirit Box just because I am expecting a sonic sound that I think I will maybe prefer a little bit more than Spirit Box because I think they're going to be all over the place. Not in a bad way. I just think that they...
But look at their singles. I
exactly.
mean,
it's you know... Yeah. But let's move on to Alan's number 4 and number 3 albums of 2020 before we get into our top singles. Here we go. Here is Alan's number 4 album.
Here we go.
At number 4, I've got a surprise for you guys.
Ooh.
And for the majority of you, the surprise isn't going to be that this album made it onto the list, but that it only placed at number 4. This record is from what's honestly my favorite band out there today. And it also contains some of the best dudes in the music industry.
Like Moss to Flames.
My number 4 album of 2020 is No Eternity in Gold by Like Moths to Flames. I don't think there's any band that is more tailor-made to suit me than the one and only Like Moths to Flames. Their songs speak to me unlike any other band. And the driving force of all of this is vocalist Chris Roeder. He's always brutally honest and shows real emotion in nearly every song. And I think he may very well do his best job on No Eternity in Gold. With every line, you can feel the anger, the sadness, and the distress. This is most apparent in one of my favorite songs from the record, Fluorescent White. This song deals with the threat of losing someone you love, something that we all go through. But No Eternity in Gold is far from a one-trick pony. Instrumentally, this album, well, it's as good as any. Some of the riffs on here are flat out wicked. One's found in The Anatomy of Evil and Servant of Plague in particular. And as usual, the blistering heavy and sing-along catchy is perfectly executed and balanced. That's always been a Moth's specialty. Of course, with this possibly being my favorite band of all time, there is a bit of bias here. I'd say one thing that might have kept this work of art from climbing even further up the charts would probably be the mix of the vocals. To me, they sounded a bit quiet, and when you have a vocalist as talented as Chris is, he should definitely be front and center. Regardless,
as a vocalist,
this is yet another entry in the star-crossed career of a band that year in and year out never seems to miss. Well deserving of the title of being my number 4 album of 2020.
All right, so Like Moths to Flames, No Eternity in Gold. Derek, thoughts on that?
I honestly have not listened to that album.
Oh my God, what does this guy listen to all day?
I told you, like, this took me a while to...
What are we doing here?
Yeah, so what?
I don't know.
Yeah. I haven't listened to them in a long time. I kind of forgot about them.
Wow. That is... Put some respect on these gentlemen. Adam, what did you think?
That's a solid pick.
Number 4.
Number 4, I think, is a bit high for me. But like he said, I mean, that was it's his favorite band of all time. That's like, me not putting ABR in the top 10 of anything metalcore for me. You know? or top 5.
Right.
So I think solid pick for sure.
Yeah, I got to be honest. I enjoyed this album. I think for me, it was like, at first listen, I was like, okay, there's a lot of songs here that I really like, but I really only found myself coming back to one track, and that was Selective Sacrifice, which was actually my top breakdown before I put Paleface in there.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Selective Sacrifice, that song is gnarly.
What was the song he played for the...
I believe that sounded like Year of the Moth. Yodam? Remember when we did that?
We did that, yeah, because that was a good
that.
track. I mean, I went through and listened to that whole album. I mean, it's a good album.
Yeah, I just, I remember, he mentioned Fluorescent White was the track that I remember. And I cannot remember the other singles off the top of my head. But a Selective Sacrifice, man, stands out very highly for me. I love that song.
We reacted to that, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah.
I remember. I love Habitual Decline, as somebody in our Twitch chat is telling us now. Habitual Decline is another good one. There's some good stuff, but Selective Sacrifice is like
the track. That's your track off that album.
That is the one that I always come back to. I got to be honest, I haven't really returned to the other material, but Selective Sacrifice was a banger.
I've probably given a good fourth through listens.
It's solid. I mean, I can't really fault the pick.
Right.
So let's go to Alan's number 3.
We have now arrived at the big 3 of 2020.
Big 3.
The first of which I heard for the first time all the way back in February. The record that takes the place of being my number 3 album of the year was the first record I heard in 2020 that I absolutely could not get enough of.
Polaris.
I was going to say, is
And
that
honestly,
Polaris?
Any other year, it could have easily been a number 1 album of the year. With all this being said, my number 3 album of 2020 is Polaris's The Death of Me.
Mm-hmm. Such a good album.
To get a better understanding of why exactly I love this album so much, let's go back to the year 2016. Polaris's The Guilt and Grief EP
So good.
was garnering tons of attention in the metalcore community. I checked it out and was immediately sold. So fast forward to their debut album in 2017. They had added on so much to their sound, and at the end of 2017, The Mortal Coil finished as a top 15 album of that year. So naturally, leading up to this year, I expected Polaris to make another jump in sound this year. And boy, did they ever. This album is anchored by what was a top 10 single of 2019 for me, Masochist.
Yep.
Every time I hear the song, it's got a chorus that immediately hooks you and makes you want to sing every time. But if it's Masochist that attracts you to this record, it's the singles from 2020 that make you want to stay. Hypermania and Landmine are two of the most fun songs I've heard all year, and possibly the heaviest songs on the album. But the greatness, well, it doesn't come close to stopping there. This album possibly has my favorite metalcore ballad of the year in Martyr Waves. It's so good, it's goosebump inducing. And besides the aforementioned Better Days by Currents, The Descent may be my favorite album closer of the year. There's honestly so much more I could go into detail about that I love about this album, like the riff in Vagabond, or the amazing chorus of Above My Head, or the out-of-nowhere breakdown in All of This Is Fleeting. But I'll leave it at this. Polaris is easily one of the best albums I had the pleasure of hearing in 2020, from what might be one of the most promising current bands in all of metalcore.
All right, Polaris at number 3. Derek, how your thoughts on that?
I love that album. Completely agree.
All right.
I mean, he said it best. They're one of the best bands in metalcore. Like, everything they put out, I'm going to probably enjoy, and I'm there, and I'm ready to go.
All right. Adam.
They haven't written a bad song yet, so
Yeah, I really, there's really nothing else to add. I mean, I'm a very big fan of Polaris.
Same.
And
Same.
You know, they're solid. So actually, I know the show format. I'm going to tinker with it a little bit. What we're going to do, we're going to go to our top singles, and then from there, we're going to go to our top albums. But then once we get to the number 2 and number 1 albums, we'll add Alan into our.
But we have a set list here.
I know, but I want to have a little bit more.
Doing it last minute.
I want to have a little
Do I have
bit
a
of
pen to write this down?
No, you're gonna have to remember. It's gonna be tough.
Oh God.
All right.
But we'll start with Derek here for top singles of 2020. I know that Derek doesn't have any honorable mentions, so Derek, give us your number 5 single of 2020.
Number 5 single of 2020 is "House of Glass" by ERA.
Ooh.
To me, it's a thinking man song.
It is.
Polyrhythms and the drums on that song.
Not anything that I like.
That's not. See, that's where Rich and I differ dramatically.
I'm not a thinking man.
Yeah. So the polyrhythms in the song, the drumming is just relentless through the whole song. I like the groove to it. I mean, I really enjoyed that song.
All right.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. I listen, man. I didn't mind it. I think I preferred Snowblood more from those 2 ERA singles.
Maybe that
like
shows
you
up
said,
in my list. Who
like
knows?
it's like you said though. It's a thinking man song, and I was just like, this is just too
Love
much.
it.
That's why I like it.
Progcore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my number 5 is Captives, Falling Apart.
I'm falling apart.
Interesting.
It's a great song.
So man,
I mean,
there's a lot of good songs, but I just have to go with the ones that have repeatability for me.
it's got that song has a very good hook too.
Oh,
And the chorus. The
yeah.
chorus in that is phenomenal.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, once again, it doesn't offer the sonic nature that I look for, but I know that that's what you gravitate toward. So I totally get it.
Listen, I mean the chorus in the upcoming song, I mean,
Yeah.
it's a ballad.
I do have an honorable mention. I want to touch on it real quick.
Of course.
Do you have do you have one?
I do.
Okay, tell us.
So my 2 honorable mentions are
2.
I have 2.
Oh, you gotta take one for Derek.
Okay.
Yeah. So which one is mine?
It doesn't matter. Landmarks, Lost in a Wave.
Okay.
Now I know it's on an album, right?
Oh, so
no,
that
but
doesn't-
the album's not out yet.
Not out. Okay, so that's
So
one.
that's
This
good,
other
yeah.
one, the album is out now, but I loved it as a single, and I
Okay.
definitely
it's
think
not in the top 5, so
It's not.
you can.
Within the Ruins, Black Heart.
Okay.
Okay.
There.
Okay. Then my number 5 right now is Captives.
I'll
Falling
take
Apart.
the Within the Ruins one.
Okay.
Okay.
So my honorable mention is actually one that at first listen when we reacted to it, I was like, it's okay. But then when I went back and listened to it a bunch more, especially in the car, I was like, damn, this song hits. I still am not a huge fan of the mix, but my honorable mention for top single of
Let it out.
2020
Let it out.
Come on.
is Pray by I the Breather.
Okay.
Man, that song was just genty. It was chunky.
It's weird. Like that, they didn't even come into my mind frame thinking about
Dude, like
top singles.
The drops in that in the car are massive. The mix leaves a little bit to be desired, but the drops do hit. But anyways, let's get into the top 5.
What is your number
what is
5,
number
Rich?
5?
Give us your number 5.
Number 5. This is a song.
Just tell us number 5.
No. This is a song for me that has a ton of replayability. It's in the Core 100. It's actually a reaction video that we did, but we collaborated with Metal Burb. That is Envision's Gold
I knew-
Blooded.
Yeah.
That was gonna be in your top 5. I thought
I
it was
knew
gonna be in your top 3, actually.
Okay, yeah, I really.
You were obsessed with that song.
We're obsessed with Envisions as well.
I
Yeah,
love
for
it. They
weeks.
won our metalcore
Yeah, I
bracket
know. Yeah, I
on
watched it,
Twitch.
yeah.
We had a metalcore madness bracket. Envisions took home the title. I bought some merch from them and gave it to a random viewer. And man, I love this song. This song has everything that I love. It has the fast paced vocals. It has a cool chorus. The drops are sick. I just cannot get enough of Envision's Gold Blooded. Derek, what is your number 4 single?
We've already talked about it. Silent Planet trilogy.
Okay.
That song is phenomenal. I mean, I'm excited to see what they're going to do off of that single. So,
okay.
I mean, yeah.
I can't follow you. I think Silent Planet is just, I mean, it's just a sick song.
It is, yeah.
So I'm going to catch some crap for this one because there's some arguability of whether or not it's actually on an EP or it was a single, but it's going to be The Gloom in the Corner, Warfare. Because it was released as a single. If you go on Spotify, it's a single.
I'll allow that because it's off an EP.
They released them.
Cop out.
Hey, they got it.
That song's amazing though. So
listen, I'm taking it as a single. It's in a gray area, but it's my number 4. That song is incredible. And
okay,
yeah,
I'll let it pass.
I'm
because
taking it.
I have
Well, at least it was in 2020. And I wasn't listing choruses in 2019. So it's in the same year. I get it. Gloom in the Corner, Warfare, number 4.
All right, Rich.
My number 4 is a song that we recently reacted to, and I was absolutely blown away. I think Adam was into it, but he definitely, obviously, probably didn't like it as much as I did. I thought that it had the groove to it. It had insane riffage. That is Cane Hill, Power of the High.
We're gonna open our eyes.
Man, this song just hit hard. It was groovy. It had like that riff reminiscent of Wage War of the River.
Okay, yep.
Oh yeah, didn't you play that for us too? Like back like that, then the Cane Hill song.
I did, and it sounded sort of familiar, but it wasn't as close as I thought. But and then just the it like the riffage was just crazy, and I loved that track, man. I cannot get over that track. I listen to that very frequently. Derek.
Number 3?
Number 3.
Number 3 for me was Crystal Lake, Watch Me Burn.
Okay. All right.
I really like them, so they had to sneak in there. I like that song more than Disobey, but that breakdown.
Oh, now that I disagree.
Well, see, that's why this is where we differ. This is why our musical tastes are very different.
I'm gonna disobey that notion you just made.
And we'll go on.
Disobey that notion. Hold on. Let me tell that again. Derek, I am going to disobey that notion. Okay. Go ahead, Adam.
I thought it was going to be another one, but that's okay.
All right.
Your number 3 single.
My number 3 single. It's My Boys in Italy from the Wind Covenant with Damnation.
Okay.
Right, yeah.
I'm taking it.
Okay. Well, do you want to elaborate? You want to fill us in on why that's number? I mean, this is number 3. Okay.
It just, I mean, I listened to that song for probably a solid month. At least half the plays on that, whatever, the 80,000 it's got is probably me.
You really like the high pitched chorus.
I do,
vocals.
and I really like the genty airiness that song brings. Even their other single, Eternal, is it Eternal? Yeah, was like that as well. And I just, that's music written for me. So I really gravitate towards that, and I loved that song.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
So yeah, it's kind of weird. A lot of my, if you went and looked at like the Spotify listeners on a lot of the bands that I'm talking about, they're low. Like they're not giant bands.
And that's fine. That's the cool thing about this, too, that hopefully some people discover some new bands and they want to check them out, too, and they love them as well.
Yeah.
Number 3 for me is one that Derek has already mentioned, Silent Planet Trilogy. I love this song.
You're too mainstream.
But it came...
Look at me, I like the top 10 bands.
This came out at the beginning
the underground
of the year.
king over here, Adam.
I know, right?
If it's got more than 10,000 monthly listeners, you're too big for me. Get out of here.
This song came out at the beginning of this year, man, and it has stuck with me. That breakdown at the end is just so sick. The chorus is short, sweet, and to the point. It's so good. I love Silent Planet. I love this band, and I can't wait for them next year. As you heard in my top bands for 2021, Silent Planet, number 3.
Yeah, you copied Derek.
Yeah, you did.
I did. Yeah, I saw his list. And I was
That's the bad part about going last is you're copying everybody else.
I'm just like, that's
I like that.
Silent Planet. Yeah. All right, Derek, number 2.
Number 2.
Number 2 was Snowblood.
By Era.
That's.
So 2 Era songs in the top 5.
Yeah, like I said, they're my favorite metalcore band. I got to throw them in there. Both those singles I was very much looking forward to. I was very disappointed that I had to wait, I think, 4 days for the reaction for Snowblood to listen to it, and it was killing me. It's
that's right, because you did the reaction with us. That's right,
that one, and I was very. It was bad.
Yeah.
But then when I heard it, like I've listened to it many times. I do like it a lot more than House of Glass, obviously.
Yeah.
Because I put House of Glass number 5, but
Right.
just that whole song, it's everything that I wanted in an Era song.
I did like Snowblood a lot.
That was the one with the really fast.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. That was good. Yeah.
Yeah. Adam, you're number 2. And now, is this a band with less or more than 5,000
I don't know.
listeners?
Let me
on
look.
Spotify?
Let me look at my paper. I wrote down the Spotify listeners on there as well.
Oh, this is easy. Spirit Box, Holy Roller.
Wow.
Whoa,
Okay.
okay.
All right.
That song, I don't know. It hit, man. It was such a simple song.
Yeah.
And it just grooved so hard. And I think, because I heard the song at the same time we saw the video for the first time, right?
Yes.
So I think the combination of the two sold me initially.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that was a pretty decent song. The video was sick. So then I,
Right.
like I do, listen to it in the car, and it translated really well. And I grooved that song a lot,
Yeah.
and I still do. And Mike, if you're watching this, it was the inspiration for one of our riffs in the next song.
Hey,
actually, just the intro riff.
Yeah. I can't disagree with you, man. I think Holy Roller is a sick track.
Yeah. And when he was on the podcast, he did say that they wrote that song as a joke.
Yeah,
in
they
the
kind of just
studio.
wrote it in passing. And, yeah.
I say joke, but it wasn't meant to be a quote serious song, and it's a banger.
Hey.
What do you got, Rich? Number 2. I know you're itching. You're like, Adam, shut up. I just want to tell everybody what my number 2 is.
My
Tell
number
us.
2. My number 2 track is from my number 1 band I'm looking forward to in 2021. That is "Lost in a Wave" by Landmarks.
I can breathe, I'm suffocated.
Wow.
I love this. So, first of all, right, when it starts off with that grungy open. I'm kind of like, okay, where is this going? And then from there, it's just, I can't remember exactly what the lyric is, but he's like, I can't breathe, I'm suffocating. Dun, dun, dun. It's just like, it has everything that I love, and it's just a sick song, man. Like, it drops, it hits. Like, I cannot get over listening to that song. It is very high up on the Core 100 playlist, and it will stay there for a long time.
I think that song is a good song.
Yeah, you had it in your top 5, right?
It was an honorable mention.
mention.
It was an honorable mention, and I have to say that song turned me off really quick with that first riff.
Yeah, the grungy.
That grungy riff, I'm like, this is going to be some new metal junk, and then they just, like, blew me away with that song. Again, the only time I haven't had, that's a newer song we just reacted to, so it hasn't had that, it didn't have the initial impact to me, that would make it in my top 5. That's why it was an honorable mention.
All right, we're going to get to our number 1 picks now.
All right, Derek.
Mine was Holy Roller.
Oh!
Reason being, there's a bunch of different reasons. Obviously, the song's amazing, but it opened my eyes up to a different genre of metal. It influenced us in a song. It definitely did.
Yeah.
I mean, from there, that was the first time I actually ever heard them. So then I went and I checked out their back catalog and was very impressed.
Yeah, it's good.
And yeah, I mean, I think what it did for the metal community as well, I think that should take into account. I mean, because it definitely did in a bunch.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it captivated everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, it came out of nowhere.
And then they did
was
that
it, yeah.
Reimagine with
With
Rio.
Rio.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I love that. Yeah,
I like
Rio's
the original better.
I do too,
yeah.
but Rio's vocals on that fit perfectly. Rio is one of my favorite screamers.
But anyways, Adam, you're number one. Your number one single.
My number one single is Novelists, Lost Cause.
I can't deny that all I know is losing control. You know I can't keep going on this satisfaction.
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
That took him by storm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I think I've loved Novelists for a while actually. And I'm shitty with the album names and stuff like that, but it had Antares on it, had Gravity on it, it had it starts with a V, but anyways, it had I think it was their debut album, and I've been listening to them since then, and I kind of fell off. They released something late last year, and they had a really cool song called I don't know if it's C'est la Vie. Anyways, but it was
Something
really
like
good.
that, yeah.
But anyways, this single basically, I went back to their original catalog and it just kind of reinvigorated them for me, and yeah, I'm obsessed with it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a great song.
It's a great song, and the guitar work is sick. I mean, it's not just the chorus for me. I mean, it's just the structure they do.
In the breakdown.
Yeah, Flo's guitar work is just so good. I did notice though, I listened to the whole catalog the last this last weekend, and he definitely has a style that he plays, but I think he does a really good job of switching it up so that everything doesn't sound similar. But
Right.
the dude's got a style and he's sick at it. So I love him. I love him. So that's my top single for 2020 right now.
My number one single for 2020, I'll make it short, sweet, to the point. I think that it's kind of obvious. It is Spiritbox, Holy Roller.
Wow, we agreed on a lot of stuff. This is weird.
And like the
we have opposite tastes in a lot of things.
Yeah, this
too.
is very
It's
strange.
This is
Like, I'm the black sheep of this thing
I
here.
know.
I was expected to be the black sheep of this.
I was like lined up here like Derek's gonna be all the black sheep. Screw
Derek's
this
gonna be
guy.
like- Derek's
Why
gonna
did
be
we
like,
invite him? And now it's like, why did we invite Adam?
Yeah.
Mr. Underground over here. What band is that? They got 200 monthly listeners, dude.
Bro, check them
200.
out.
It's a lot of what Derek said, man. Holy Roller. It's a lot of what Adam said too. Holy Roller is it's not anything crazy. It's down 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 down.
That's not how it goes, but that's okay.
That's exactly how it goes. That is 100%. How does it go then?
I gotta play it on guitar. I can't do it with my mouth.
He's on a mouth of close enough.
Whatever.
No, it's
Anyways,
right.
I love this song. I mean, it's just it's not a long song, which definitely helps, but Courtney's vocals are just
So good, man.
relentless. And the drops are sick, and there's all the electronic parts of the shimmering
You learned one plugin name, and all you say is shimmer now.
Well, it sounds like
Guy
I know
learns one
something now,
plugin name,
guys.
and everything's a shimmer.
well, it sounds like it's like a
It is,
shimmer.
huh? It is.
That's what it is.
It's what it is.
Just
but
messing with you.
But-
No, they used some cool symphony, strings. I don't know if it's like a stand-up bass, but the dun 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 dun. Like that's
Yeah.
not electronic. That's like orchestral stuff.
Yeah, they
and
just add in-
it may be MIDI, but
Right, they just add in a lot of cool stuff,
Yeah,
and
I
it's
like it.
short, sweet, heavy,
to the point.
and it's I just love it.
that's a great example of a song that just hits so hard, but is just so freaking simple.
Yeah, exactly.
From a riffage standpoint,
And those are the hardest ones to write.
it's true.
And it's so true.
Ugh.
Okay, let's move into our top albums now. So like I said, what we're going to do here is we're going to start at number 5. We're going to go in the same order that we have been, but once we get to Alan,
top two,
the
right?
top 2, we'll go Alan first, then Derek, then you, then me.
Perfect.
And then we'll do that. So Derek, start us off with your number. Now listen, Derek, this is your top album of 2020. This is the big kahuna. Okay.
I understand the criteria.
Okay. Top album.
So
top
number 5
Yeah.
was ABR.
Okay. ABR Guardians.
I mean, it's straight up metalcore. Everything I love about ABR is in that. I stopped listening to him for a little while when I stopped listening to metalcore for a couple years, and this album brought me back to them.
Okay.
When I heard Paramount, I was like, yes. And then I just listened to the whole album, and I was like, okay. And so I've been listening to it a lot, and so it is metalcore. I mean,
Adam, I want to just throw it over to you real quick.
Okay.
Yes, ABR number 5. What do you think of that?
I'm no comment.
Okay, Adam, number 5 album of 2020.
My number 5 album is Hollow Front with Loose Thread.
I've wasted so much time.
Wow. Okay, so Alan had him at number 9. You're at number 5.
Yes, I have it at number 5. And again, it's a recent addition.
Okay.
Honestly, from an overall standpoint, I think from an honorable mention, I had Like Moths to Flames on there. Didn't crack my top 5, but very good album. But I had I had that.
All right. So I did have an honorable mention, and I just want to touch on that real quick.
Yep.
And I really went back and forth on this being my honorable mention or my number 5. I ultimately settled on this one being my honorable mention, and that is Loathe, I Let It In, and It Took Everything. I really enjoyed this album. I think for me, what it was is they had a lot of like the traditional Loathe stuff that I like, but they kind of ventured into that Deftones-y kind of territory, which I didn't mind. Like a song like Two-Way Mirror, I liked a lot, but I think that it had a lot more of that. And I was kind of like, okay, like I like it, but I prefer songs like Aggressive Evolution or Gourd or New Faces in the Dark, I believe is the name of the song. So Loathe is my honorable mention. My number 5 album, this might be a little bit of a surprise for you gentlemen, because I think you probably would have expected it to be higher.
okay.
My number 5 album of 2020 is Alpha Wolf, A Quiet Place to Die.
That does surprise me.
Yeah, I thought.
That would be number 3. I didn't think it was going to be your top album, but I thought it would be at least the top 3.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be top 5 for sure.
I think for me with Alpha Wolf at number 5, I think for me, there's a lot of sick tracks. Like the 3 that stand out to me immediately are Restricted, Creep, and Akadama. I love those songs. Outside of that, the songs are good, but they all, outside of like Don't Ask or Bleed For You, which I do like Bleed For You quite a bit, but Don't Ask is, a little bit more melodic, and it's a nice closer. Outside of that, the other songs are also heavy, but it's just I prefer those other 3 heavy songs to those heavy songs. You know what I mean? So I think for me, that's where they end up at number 5, is that they have 3 songs that I'd say 2 songs that I would really return to in Restricted and Akadama. Creep is good. Bleed For You is good. Don't Ask is good. The rest, I would listen to them. I would love to experience them live, but they didn't do enough to elevate them a little bit higher on the list for me. And like I said, I struggle with putting that or Loathe, and I think I went with Alpha Wolf just because it has an overall sonic feel that I prefer in the end. So there we go. That's my number 5 album. Derek, your number 4 album.
Number 4 would be Polaris.
Wow.
Every day like a broken record. Every night is a pointless
Okay.
I wore that album out in the end of the summer.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Alan said it best. I can't really say more. Like, he really did, Masochist is like that hook in the chorus is just so good. I mean, Hypermania is like what a hardcore song should be.
Yeah.
It's exactly like if that's what hardcore songs should be to me is what Hypermania is. Like, I'm not a huge hardcore fan in a metalcore band, but that's what a hardcore song should be. It has every element that I would like, and they do it perfectly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Polara, that's a great pick.
What is my 4? I don't even know.
Adam, your number 4 album of 2020.
It's my boys.
Oh, I know what it is.
It's my boys. If I Were You.
Oh, yeah.
Radiant Dark.
You're nothing more than a coward.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, an underdog.
This is another underground Adam pick.
Well,
They're not really.
They're not.
The 200,000 range.
I know what you mean, Derek.
Yeah,
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I think Alan had them at like number 17 or something
Listen,
like that.
it's
It's a great album.
I don't want to say it's a breakout album for metalcore, but it is just
Solid.
There's just not a bad note on the friggin' album.
Yeah,
There's just not a bad note. And, you know, I've been listening to them since 2017-ish, and I could listen to their discography and not wear it out. And I have been for 3 years.
Yeah, I think,
here.
2018 and 2019, they were your number one band? Are
they
still
were my number one band.
this year, too?
2 this year. They were number 2 this year.
Oh, okay, because I know for 18 and 19, they were number one.
They were number 1.
Yeah.
So, love the boys. They came out with this, killer album. And the only reason they didn't make my what am I looking forward to in 2021 is because I know what they're doing already. So nothing to look forward to. I'm just waiting for it. So, or I know some of what they're doing. I don't know all of it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's a solid pick, man.
Yeah.
I mean, If I Were You, I mean, we
I don't know. You said it was an underdog, so I don't know.
It's
you hear it? You hear it, Randy? You hear it, Dan?
I said that just because.
Guys.
Demonetized. Okay, my number 4, this is one that I thought about even just driving over here. I was like, where am I going to do number 4, number 3?
But it only took you 10 minutes to make your whole list.
Well, so I had the initial, I had the albums. It was just like, is this one higher? Is this one higher?
Oh, okay, so just the
order. Just
ranking.
Right.
Gotcha.
So I really struggled with where to go with this, with 3 or 4. And, I'm going to go with my gut. My number 4 album of 2020 is Make Them Suffer, How to Survive a Funeral.
I can't breathe.
I really loved this album. I mean, I loved it. Bones, Erase Me were solid. And those are like the 2 singles that really draw me in. But the rest of the stuff, man, overall is very genty, very chaotic, some really nice choruses, and I just it has a lot of the heaviness that I also liked with Alpha Wolf. Maybe not the same kind of heaviness, but it still has that. But it also has some other really tasteful elements, melodies wise, and just hooks, and I really, really enjoyed it. So that's my number 4 album, is an Australian band. We're going back-to-back Australian bands there.
Yeah. Aussies.
Hey,
Derek,
told you.
number 3.
Something in the water down there.
I did.
I don't know what it
Kings.
is. Yeah. What we're on number 3?
Number 3.
Number 3 for me is an album you guys can probably guess. It's 100th, Somewhere Nowhere.
But I kinda like it in a low key.
Wow.
I'm throwing that in there. They're technically in the genre.
That's a perfect pick, because this is very different from what we have discussed all throughout the night.
All throughout the night.
It's true.
So, now elaborate. So for people that, because
Derek,
I think of,
you can move your mic down.
I think of Break
I
Free.
can't move my mic down.
Oh, it won't go down more?
That's why. Yeah.
Oh, bummer.
That's why I've been sitting all weird.
I think of the song "Break Free" by 100th when I think
Correct.
of 100th, which is
Yeah,
not
that's fine.
anything like what
Not
they sound
anything
now.
like where they are now. I mean, even off their album after that with Neurotic, nothing like that. And they've even taken a more drastic turn on this album. Just something about it. I'm a big indie guy. I love shoegaze. I love every element they did. I actually listened to that album as I built Adam's new computer.
Yeah.
He's like, "What am I listening to?"
I thought
right
I was
now?"
tripping, dude.
He was
I'm like, yo, when you're
why
going,
are you playing this right now?
oh my God, you guys see the lights? You guys see the lights?
It's just
Flying snakes.
that's what I listen to a lot. besides metal is pretty much stuff like that. I'd say it's probably about a 60-40 split.
Okay.
So with more the indie side that it is metal. Just what I grew up on.
Yeah, so when you see those funky indie bass lines he's playing on stage, you know they come from him.
So yeah, so that's why I threw that in there. They're in the genre.
No, it's perfect. I
Technically,
think it's a great pick.
yeah.
I mean, it's not anything that I would personally listen to, but I think it's a cool outside of the core genre.
I mean,
pick.
I think everybody should check them out. I think they did a really good job. I mean, the 3 singles they released last year that they put on the album are phenomenal. One of them was actually my top song of the year on Spotify.
Really?
Yes.
Most listened to.
Wow. Adam, your number 3 album for 2020.
Look here.
It's like he's cheating.
Polaris, The Death of Me.
Am I addicted to the misery? Is this how I'll always be? Clouding the sun into every...
Okay.
They made top 3 for me. Like Derek, I did. I don't want to say wore it out, but I wore it out.
Yeah.
I didn't stop listening to that album. We didn't get to do an album reaction to that because I refused to wait.
I did do it. I did one on Patreon.
You did one. That's right. Yeah, I couldn't wait. I love the album. I mean, again, it's like one of those repeatability. I couldn't get enough of it. I still listen to it. That's it. Pretty simple.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are going to be very surprised by my number 3 album. I want you guys to take one guess.
Number 3. Did Amir release an album this year?
Like Moths to Flames.
My number 3 album for 2020.
Are you sure it's a 2020 release?
Oh, it's 100% a 2020
Okay.
release. My number 3 album for 2020
is
August Burns Red, Guardians.
What?
I am surprised by that.
Wait a second. Wait a second.
Go ahead.
I don't want to talk about it too much yet. But how does August Burns Red even end up on your list?
Yeah, that's what I'm curious about.
I think for me what it was is for me with August Burns Red in the past, I've liked them, right? But they've always, to me, have kind of been, obviously extremely talented, proficient players. It's very kind of riff salady. They kind of go all over the place, which I like. They have some cool breakdowns, but I think with this record, what they did is they took what they do best, but also added some of that modern flair, that modern breakdown energy to a lot of their tracks. Like,
So you're a Bloodletter guy.
I love Bloodletter. I love Paramount. Paramount's my favorite track.
Really?
That's my
I
favorite track as
They
well.
played it live on their live stream.
Yeah, I love that track. I love Defender. I love Lighthouse. I love oh man, there was one other track. Ties That Bind. I really like that one. There was just so many songs that when when I first went into the album, I was kind of okay, like, because August Burns Red's very consistent. They've had their sound. I was like, these guys have never made that radio rock transition. They've always stayed
August Burns
Red.
They've always been them.
They're always going to be them.
And I just
We hope.
And
Yeah.
I just they did a lot of really cool things. Just like I remember listening to the album, and they did stuff like I believe it was in Ties That Bind. There was like a very simple, just chuggy riff, but then also just some crazy like tapping leads over it.
Dustin wrote that song. So I think they definitely turned a creative approach on this album.
Yeah.
And that's all I'll say for now.
Yeah, I think my my least favorite. I just want to pull up on Spotify real quick. I want to make sure I get the names right. But my least favorite on that record.
What is this, your album review?
Yeah, I know. What are you doing here, man?
Well, I want because you guys are surprised. So I want to. So Dismembered Memory. That was probably my least favorite.
Oh, that's a
See, that to me felt like traditional August Burns Red. It felt like just one big song with a bunch of different riffs.
that was one of my favorite tracks on the album.
But I'll leave it at that. August Burns Red, man, I think that there's like 4 or 5 songs that I will definitely be returning to. A lot of that modern breakdown energy. So August Burns Red's my number 3 album. Over Alpha Wolf, over
I'm
Make Them
really
Suffer.
surprised at that. If when you didn't say them on number 5, I didn't think they were going to make your list.
Ah, okay.
So
Did you think they were going to be higher for me?
I actually did.
I didn't think they'd hit your list at all, to be honest with you.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna get to number 2 now, so we're gonna turn it over to Alan. His
All right,
number
Alan.
2
All right.
album.
Alan's
He's
number
gonna,
2.
he's gonna explain it like way better than I can.
I know.
Listen, I'm not.
No, I'm enjoying this.
I
a
am
lot.
not in compete mode right now.
Oh yeah, no, I enjoy this a lot. Like it's great.
Alan's number 2 album of 2020.
My runner-up to Album of the Year in 2020 is special and rare. It's from a band that does something that seemingly no other band in all of metalcore does. Get better with every release. Their last 3 records have all found their way into my top 10 of the year lists. In fact, their last release was also my runner-up album in 2018. So, for the second consecutive release year, my number 2 album of 2020 goes to Bury Tomorrow and their album Cannibal. There's no hiding it anymore. There's no more than 2 metalcore bands in the world right now that I'm loving more than Bury Tomorrow. Consistency is the name of the game for this band. Over the course of their 14-year career, the band has remained true to themselves. And with Cannibal, it's honestly the best version of Bury Tomorrow I've heard yet. When you talk about the band, the first thing anyone usually mentions is the vocals. And that's where I will begin as well. The combo of Jason Cameron and Daniel Winter Bates is nothing short of the best and most unique vocal combo in all of metalcore. There's simply no one else that sounds like them. Although the band plays a familiar style of metalcore, that alone is enough to keep Bury Tomorrow feeling fresh album after album. The next notable thing about Cannibal is that it also contains my favorite single of all of 2020, the title track. It released all the way back in January, and I have lost count of how many times I played it. And lucky for me, I think most of the material left on Cannibal is just as good. The album has songs that are metalcore anthems. Gods and Machines, Better Below, and Voice and Truth are songs found here that are impossible not to sing along with. And what's the one thing I like to do more than sing along? You guessed it, rage. And there's plenty of that found on Cannibal as well. Look no further than the opening track on the album, Choke, as well as Cold Sleep and one of my favorites, Dark Infinite. And I haven't even mentioned the guitars at all yet. Guitarist Kristen Dawson adds a special flair to Cannibal that's great, even by Bury Tomorrow's high standards. Riffs and solos are bountiful on Cannibal, and almost all of them hit extremely hard. And add all of these ingredients together, and you've got what would have been my favorite album of 2020. Had it not been for one very special album.
Nice cliffhanger there.
Yeah.
All right, so Bury Tomorrow, Cannibal at number 2. I gotta be honest, I'm a little surprised at that selection.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say much about it because I'm like on the completely different planet.
I gotta be honest. I did like Cannibal. Choke was cool. I did an album reaction to these guys, and I think I gave them around a 75%.
I was gonna say I did. It's from someone who listens to it just musically. I don't find them different than anybody doing anything special.
I like the clean vocals quite a bit, but it's like what you said. I think a lot of it is just. It's kind of like, in a way, it's kind of like, okay, I've heard these 2 songs, I really like them, and these other songs sound like it, but I like these 2 songs more.
Yeah.
And I'm a little surprised by that. I can kind of see what he's saying in terms of the vocal dynamic, the they are unique in that sense.
Yeah.
They do have the anthemic parts, but I just I don't know if that would have even cracked my top 15.
That wouldn't have been in my top 25.
I get it. I mean, I do love the clean vocals. I gotta say, the clean vocals are probably some of my favorite out there. To you know, just for me, but yeah.
I mean, he kind of said it as like more of like a personal preference. I almost feel like
Yeah.
it's like why he was throwing them up there. Nothing really stood out to me on that album. I mean, I think I listened maybe to it once. I have to like really remember. I did listen to the singles though too. They were good.
Yeah.
Like it's good to throw on a playlist, but I don't think I would, listen to the album from front to back a lot to like throw it into my top 5, like number 2 even.
Right.
But again, it just seems like more like he just really enjoys them. It's his personal preference.
Yeah, he
so,
just
which
really
is
likes-
nothing wrong with that at all. I mean,
no, not at all.
Yeah.
But Derek, let's move over to your number 2 album.
my number 2 album was Currents.
Wow. Okay.
That middle of that album is so good. I mean, he kind of like talked about it again. He already talked about it a lot.
Yeah.
I can't really add too much to what he said. But it's just something about it. Like it just grabbed me the first time I heard it. And again, there have about 4 or 5 songs on that I have on just different playlists that I will not get sick of.
Yeah.
I mean, the beginning and middle of that album are so good. And it ends on such a good note as well. Like, yeah, that's great. I don't.
Yeah, that's a fair pick. I can't really question it. I think Currents is a very solid choice.
That's funny because that was my number 2 as well.
Oh, okay.
Currents.
What the heck?
What's going on?
What's going on? You guys are the same.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you, man. I thought, again, I don't think it was any groundbreaking metalcore, but I just thought the way that the album was put together and the story it told and just the quality and the consistency through it made it a top album, number 2 for me. I thought it was fantastic. The guitar work, I thought everything just fit well. And the vocals, I mean, I don't listen to a lot of the vocals when I listen to music. I listen to a lot of the melody in the music itself. But I found myself singing and screaming to these guys to this album.
Yeah.
So
I can't fault you guys, and that's why my number 2 pick is Polaris.
Ooh,
The Death of Me.
But I know by now that the state of mind is just a waste of time, and it's
Yay! I mean,
Listen, man, Polaris, The Death of Me, I think that got the highest mark on my album reaction reviews that I've done on Patreon.
which was
What?
what?
I gave it a 90%.
Oh.
Jamie appreciated that, didn't he? Because
Yeah.
you gave some constructive, candid feedback as well.
Yeah, I mean there was I got to be honest. So I gave some candid feedback, but I had some egg on my face in terms of I remembered not liking the song Masochist. And then
Really?
I went back and listened to it, and I was like, man, I do like this. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought I didn't like
Yeah,
this.
and that's why I think it's funny when people go off on us in the comments because we don't like a song initially. And yeah, I mean, I've eaten
It's
my
happened
words
many
a few
a times.
It's gonna because it depends on what mood you're in. I mean,
Exactly.
Yeah. So-
I loved this album, man. I think, Landmine, Hypermania, obviously the 2 standout ones, but All of This Is Fleeting, that breakdown. If you go and watch that album reaction, I was just sitting there, I'm just like, all right, like, this is cool. And then all of a sudden it came, and I was just like, whoa.
Subscribe to the Patreon to watch that album.
Yeah,
reaction.
patreon.com/trueshotofficial. Yeah, man, it's one of those albums that top to bottom are just, it's just great. I remember there was one song that I kind of liked a little bit less than the rest, which was probably Martyr Waves, if I remember. I can't remember if there was that one or Vagabond.
I don't know how you remember all these song names, man.
I'm the same way. That's why I say like 3 or 4 tracks. Like these ones, like I can kind of name them. But
hey,
like,
the riff goes
yeah.
like this.
that's how I am.
Well, I don't know. I really thoroughly enjoyed this album, and now that is 3 Australian bands in my top 5.
We're moving to Australia.
Australia is just They're killing the metalcore game right now. I just
Polaris is just is sick. So
All right, let's go to number 1.
Why don't you head over to the computer and
right, hold on. I'll just grab my mouse.
Okay, yeah, we're heading over there.
All right, here's Alan's number 1. Hopefully it comes through. Let's try this out.
If you've listened with me this far, I just want to say thank you. We've reached the end. At long last, after everything we've been through this year, and for the last however long you've been listening to this podcast, it's time to finally reveal the album that I just couldn't go without naming the album of the year.
I know what this is.
So since you stuck with me so long this time, I'll spare you the drama. Without further ado,
come on.
My number 1 album of 2020 is August Burns Red's Guardians.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to his explanation.
Yeah, I want to hear this.
Yeah, me too.
So here we have it. The men, the myths, and the legends. August Burns Red.
And our friends.
There are countless reasons why I think that Guardians is the best album that released this year. It could be that this is their 9th and somehow their heaviest album.
Yeah.
It could be the amazing and consistent lyrical depth throughout the album. It could be the riffs, or the solos, or the breakdowns, or this, or that. You get the idea. But I think what I loved most about Guardians is that it feels like August Burns Red released a For the Fans album. What I mean by that is, in this record, they have a little bit of something from what feels like every record in their catalog. It has the balls to the wall heavy from the Messengers and Constellations Day. Some spoken word for the fans of Leveler or Rescue and Restore. And of course, it also has some of the interlude-like sections in the albums Found in Faraway Places and Phantom Anthem. They do all of this while still remaining true to themselves. There are moments on this record that are simply unmatched by anything else this year. Specifically, Dismembered Memory, Ties That Bind, and Bloodletter appearing back to back to back on the album. This alone would be close to enough to crown Guardians my album of the year, but I haven't even mentioned the singles yet.
Yeah.
Defender was my 3rd favorite single of the entire year. Bones is a sing-along hit, and Paramount already feels like it's yet another August Burns Red classic song.
Agreed.
And after reaching the end of this record, I realized that I have underappreciated ABR and everything they have managed to achieve over the span of their career. And it's time I respect them to be the metalcore legends that they are. Guardians is a modern-day classic metalcore masterpiece. And I would have been a fool if this record was not my top album of 2020.
I guess I'm
and with that,
you are.
That's it. Thank you once again, everyone. I hope that you have enjoyed my picks this year and maybe even found something new to listen to and love as much as I did. So take some time to sit back and relax. Enjoy the holidays with your friends and family, because that's certainly what I'm going to do. Here's to 2021, everyone. We know next year will certainly be better than this past one. Let's just hope that the music will match it. Farewell, guys. See you soon.
All right.
So there we go. Alan's number 1 album of 2020, August Burns Red, Guardians.
So my number 1 album of the year, these boys know it. What is it?
It's Alan's number 12.
Yes, it is Advent Animate.
Wow, really?
View.
There's
just something about that album. I don't know what it was.
It's right in the feels.
Yeah, it sucked me in, and I still listen to it constantly to this day.
It spits you out.
It sucked me in and spits me out.
Okay.
But I just, from just the opening track, going all the way to the end. The singles off the album were phenomenal.
Nice.
I could sing along to them. Even like some of the quote-unquote filler tracks have some of the great choruses of the year for me. Like Hollow White's a standout track to me. And again, like Adam, I'm trying to think of other tracks, names besides the singles that I just can't do it.
I'm terrible at that.
Yeah, like Cloud Cascade obviously was a fantastic track.
You didn't like that when we reacted to that, did you?
No.
No, I liked
airy.
it. It was pretty airy.
See, I like that stuff. I like
Yeah.
that the ambiance and everything like that.
You're
so.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, so Adam,
Adam?
I think we know what Adam's is. Yeah,
You spoiled it at the beginning of everything.
You did.
Why?
You're wearing the shirt.
So what? Maybe they didn't make my list. They almost didn't because I forgot the damn album came out in 2020. But they are my number one.
What?
Your number one. So who is it?
ABR. August Burns Red.
Deliver the sentence.
Why is it your number one?
They these guys are my ultimate favorite band ever. I mean, I've been listening to them since I was a wee lad, when they were wee lads in Pennsylvania playing in high school. But yeah, I think that they turned a corner with this release. I thought Phantom Anthem was a fantastic release. I didn't think anything was going to beat that or Messengers for me. I mean, I liked everything that they've done. But this album, man,
Yeah,
it just turned a corner, and I think they've done a really good job adapting, and I think the fact that Dustin's writing full songs now, and I know they've always been, doing things together, but Dustin's writing songs, he's playing guitar now, they're swapping, if anybody watched any of the live stream, the Christmas Burns Red, I mean, they're swapping the guitars, and, JB's playing bass, and, JB's screaming now, and you got, in the cover, the Chop Suey cover, you got Jake doing clean vocals. I mean, these guys are not doing the same thing with each release. They're changing it up every single time.
Cohesive unit that just do whatever they want.
Yeah, and it's not. I said it in a couple of comments. It's not about ego with them. It doesn't seem. Again, I'm not personal friends with all these guys, but it doesn't seem like it's about ego. It's about the music. Who can be creative, and whatever gets the job done, and they can all enjoy it. They'll put it out there. I mean, I got to give a hands down to Dustin, man. I mean, he wrote Ties That Bind, and that was my favorite song off the album.
Yeah, that's a great song.
And when they played that live on the Christmas Birds Red live stream, that one hit me.
Yeah,
it was good. It was good. I was just like, man, this song really cranks, So August Burns Red, man.
Doesn't help that
2020.
they also have one of the best, if not the best, metalcore drummer in the game in Matt Grenier.
Dude,
I mean, he
listen.
is so good.
Matt Grenier is.
Yeah, it's just, yeah.
I there's nothing to say about him other than
That's when I first heard ABR. When we first heard Messengers, that's what struck me at the beginning.
But think about when Messengers came out.
Yeah,
and he was drumming like that.
Yeah, exactly. And he's still going on and innovating, and it's still.
He's been that good for that long.
I mean, all of them. I mean, if this is progressing, it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And so all of us, including Al, we all had ABR in our top 5.
Yeah.
Derek at number 5, me at number 3, and you both at number 1. You and Alan.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I was not expecting him to say ABR.
I was not either.
I saw the list obviously in advance.
Okay.
I couldn't remember exactly a lot of them, but I remembered some of the bands. I just couldn't remember where.
Yeah, I think Alan's top 3. I think I agree with August Burns Red. That's it for the top.
Okay. Both your number 1, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, so Rich, number 1.
My number 1 album.
Wait, we're done. This is the end.
See you later.
Bye.
Peace.
My number 1 album of 2020. This is going to be met with a lot of hate. It's going to be met with a lot of, Rich, what the hell have you done? Why? How can you pick this one at number 1? I know a lot of people were collectively sort of disappointed by this album, but I loved it. I mean, to me, this is just a band that I cherish with my entire heart and soul. It is Immure.
Of course.
Hindsight.
Of course.
Yeah, so we reacted to that album.
Yeah, and it was one of those at first listen, it was so different from Look at Yourself. I was like, what is happening? And then I listened to it more and more, and it is just so dark and very. It's just a different kind. It's so unique. I know that lyrically people will say it's not anything, and I know that, but I just think that even with that Imure style, Frankie just stays true to who he is, what he wants to do, and they add in all those unique, I don't know, it's just like these unique, like weird electronic elements or samples, and it was such an eerie album. It was only 31 minutes long. I mean, it was
quick.
Yeah, that's wow.
It's short, sweet, and to the point. There's a lot of songs that are just like Gypsy Disco and why the hell is it escaping me all of a sudden? Gypsy Disco and I have it. Pig's Ear.
Okay, so I almost said Pig's Ear, but I didn't think it was off that album.
Oh my God, I don't know why I couldn't remember that. But Pig's Ear, that was sick.
Which was the one that was so heavy it pushed me out of my seat?
That was Gypsy Disco.
Gypsy Disco, that's right.
Yeah, listen, man, I don't know what it is with the Muir, but it's like it just connects with me it just has everything that I love about music. And sonically, I think that this album was super sick. It's not uncommon for me to, because I usually listen to the Core 100 playlist, but there's sometimes where I'm just in the car, I'm just like, I just got to listen to this album front to back. I just have to.
It'll only take you there to the Packy, so.
I mean, I just drive down the street and it's done.
It's done. Like you go to McDonald's across the street from your apartment, it's done.
By the time you're out of the drive-thru, boom.
I mean, hey,
you're on second listen.
There's nothing like a trip over to the McDonald's and a Muir listen. So let's just give a quick recap for the people at home for our lists. Derek, start at number 5 and work your way up to number 1.
Number 5. I already forgot.
It was August Burns Red.
Yes, it was August Burns Red.
All right. 4. Go right down your list.
Just keep on going. Oh, it's Polaris, The Death of Me. And then number 3 was 100th, Somewhere Nowhere. Number 2 was Currents, The Way It Ends. And number 1 was Invent, Animate, Greyview.
Wow. All right, I got Hollow Front, Loose Threads. I got If I Were You, Radiant Dark. I have Polaris, The Death of Me for number 3. Currents, The Way It Ends for number 2. August Burns Red with Guardians numero 1.
Number 5 for me was Alpha Wolf, A Quiet Place to Die. Number 4, Make Them Suffer, How to Survive a Funeral. Number 3, August Burns Red, Guardians. Number 2, Polaris, The Death of Me. And number 1, the almighty, the immortal, Imure, Hindsight.
All right.
Thank you guys for watching this 2020 award show. Big thank you to Alan for allowing us to play his top albums. I think that was really nice.
That was awesome.
Of him to do that.
Really
Thank you, Alan.
And he has great explanations.
Yeah, he is. He's awesome.
Yeah.
And I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let us know what you disagreed with, what you agreed with, what you were hoping to see. I think
what
a lot
did
of
we
people,
miss?
I think a lot of people were expecting us to have some Slaughter to Prevail Demolisher in the breakdown section.
Yes.
I would
assume that. Yeah.
I was surprised. I think people were surprised that we didn't have that. There were some albums that I really contemplated, like Moss to Flames or Currents.
Yeah.
There was just some stuff here and there that I just I think we all threw some curveballs.
Yeah.
I think my August Burns Red pick, I knew that was going to throw you on your head.
Yeah. Well, you said you did the album reaction and you enjoyed it, so I was like, okay, is it going to be on his top 5? I don't know. It's just not. You don't like the riff salad, so there's still a lot of that in the Guardians.
Yeah, but there is, but I think that they just do a really nice job of.
It's different. It's not the same Wheedly-Wheedlies.
Yeah.
But
anyways, guys, I know that we're live on Twitch right now, so if you're live on Twitch, don't worry, we're still going to be on, so hang tight. We're just doing an outro for the podcast. But anyways, guys, as you can see all around us, for Adam, Rich, and Derek, this is our 2020 awards.
2020 awards.
We'll see you in 2021 with we're going to have a single at the top of 2021 that's going to be the best single of 2021.
Yes.
It's going to be the best one. Alan, if you're watching this, sucker, it better be your number 1 single of 2021. That'll be coming out in January. Peace.
Peace.